Live. Courtney, if you're there with us. See, I'm still trying to figure out this techie stuff.
I'm coming.
Okay, I am so happy. I'm a little, well, you know, it is what it
Hi,
is.
Why? Hi, Candy.
Hello.
Hi, Queen O-Sit.
Hello, Courtney. All right, so, is Giselle with us? She said she would come back. She was early. Giselle must have been waiting.
She's on.
Is she?
Yeah, she was super early, and then she's back. I can see she's back. Hi, Giselle.
Hey. Oh, you know, this weather is something else. I think it's supposed to be 75 degrees today.
Wow.
Of course, because, yeah, I'm sewing a winter coat. So, of course, it's 75 degrees today. Right?
You never know what to put on there, do you?
No, I said it for, you know, so I have coats, but, you know, I'm getting back on my sewing thing, and I am determined to sew a hot pink coat. And I have hot pink boucle, which is like a wool and all of that stuff. And I kept saying it. I know, right? And I said,
it's going to be 50 over here, so it's going to be a little chilly. Yeah.
And I said, as soon as I start to make this coat, the temperature's going to go up. There you go.
Yeah.
See? Can't get the winning lottery numbers, but this I can do.
You jinxed it.
Yeah. Yes, right. So, it's not that kind of show. Hey, maybe it is. It's a Sunday. Why not? We need a little laughter and stuff, right?
Yes.
So, welcome everyone to the 4th episode of Real Talk, Real Connections. You know, this is the time of month where we just chit chat about some things. So I know I had sent you the link early this morning. I have been behind. I didn't realize I let time get away from me about some things that I wanted to do. I know why you can only stay but a short time and then you have to leave. How's your mom doing, by the way?
She's good. She's good. She's taking
good?
a shower. Yep, she's taking a shower right now.
Good.
And we'll be ready to go get our second shot of the vaccine. So.
Okay. All right. Oof. Yeah. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not. It is what it is. Okay, so I need to get one more thing.
Was that both of you? Why? You and your mom?
No, just my mom today. And then I'm going to get it tomorrow because, you know, they said that after you get the shot, the next day you're going to be a little bit, you know, rough. So we kind of, you know, I kind of schedule when she is in pain, I will be able to take care of her. And then when she recovers, and then I will be, you know, going through a difficult time on Tuesday, and then maybe she can take care of me. So being smart.
Yeah, seems sensible. I had it about 2 weeks ago because I'm a carer for my daughter. So all the carers got lumped a bit earlier than otherwise. And it was about 36 hours. It knocked me off my feet. So
yeah, you had a bug, Candy?
No, I had my first COVID shot.
Oh.
Yeah, and it just felt like I'd got flu.
Yeah, see, I haven't had a flu shot since 1985. Flu shots put me down for the count. So, no. So, I'm lighting this candle, bergamot, amber, and neroli, to truly welcome in the new year, the spring equinox, to provide a light for those who left us too soon already into the year. Okay, that's what I do. Because in spite of Anyway. Okay. Yeah. It's been a crazy year. And we're just 3 months in. Did you see my last post? I just posted on Instagram because I've been silent. Like, really, 2021? Like, you came in like this? Then we have enough? Anyway, today I wanted to talk about, Spirit's with me. It's crackling. Snap, crackle, pop. Okay, they're ready to rock and roll. Y'all keep quiet now. About connections and commitments, right? How far are we willing to go? So before we get started, I always like to do something fun, right? So I got some fun questions. Question number 1. So all of us, we have a common thing, which is love of tarot and the woo and all of that. So what is your least favorite word in the woo-woo world? Least favorite.
For me, I think
you're muted, darling. You're muted, Courtney.
Oh. I'm not muted, no.
No, go on.
No, Courtney. There you go.
I just
What were you going to say?
Going in a particular order.
No, everyone could just speak. Hi, Lennon. Hi, Laura. Giselle, hello.
For me,
okay, go ahead.
It's all like love and light stuff, because I used to date somebody. It just triggers me back to this. He was very passive aggressive, and he would always follow it up with, well, love and light, very much on that toxic positivity. So whenever I see anything like that, that can trigger me, because I always go back to days where there was that underlying stab at you, dressed up as love and light. So I can't stand anything like that. Tell me as it is if you've got a problem. Don't dress it up as love and light.
All set. That's like, bless her heart.
Yeah, bless her heart. Yes. Okay. Anyone else have a word? Because I have a word, and it's going to cause some controversy.
I have a word that's going to make everybody mad when I say it. You ready?
Go ahead.
Gifted. Drives me up the wall. I guess because I'm old. Gifted.
Right. So that's kind of in alignment with my word. Do you have a word? Why?
It might be controversial if I say it, but I'm going to say it. Why not, right? Namaste.
Yeah, namaste, my ass in bed. That's what namaste means for me. Okay.
I mean, it's genuinely a lovely word, but I just feel like I don't know where people...
It's overused. It's commercialized. Okay.
Yeah. Where are they genuinely coming from? Instead of being a slogan, right? Namaste, like what?
Exactly.
Like, if you genuinely believe in it, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Most people who say it, they don't even know what it means. Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So before I set my hair on fire, you know what the word bothers me?
What?
Muggle.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. That bothers me.
Word. What does that word mean?
I really hear that a lot, though. You hear it a lot?
I hear it. I hear it a lot. And every time I hear it from somebody who is a witch, I am like, we have separatism. Now we have segregation. Now we have us and them. Mm-hmm. How do we determine who's a muggle?
Do people actually use that, though, in the real world?
I don't hear it, but I guess I'll set you do, huh?
Yeah.
And why you don't know where it's from?
I don't know what that means either.
You've seen Harry Potter movie or heard of Harry Potter movie or
one or two, not all of them.
So in the Harry Potter movies and books, it's if you were a magical person that was
We can hear
you. You're just frozen. Yeah.
Hang on, world. If you were a magical sorry about that. If you were a magical person, then you were one thing, and if you were a non-magical person, then you were a muggle.
Got it.
I think we have storms here with rain, so it's probably messing me up.
Yes,
There's a lot of ego in that, isn't there, to go around calling people muggles? How much ego would you need to do that?
Exactly. And I hear it a lot in the witchy community. And that's one of the reasons why I don't participate in the witchy community as much as I've been asked to, because there's some things that need to be broken down to the core before I can actually participate in that. And that is one word that drives me insane, because again, it's like, how do you determine who is or isn't, right? Do we do a swab test, blood test, urine test, hair strand test? Like what? How do you determine that?
Yeah.
Right?
It kind of ties into what we think magic is. I mean, are we really going down that Hollywood line of magic is the flashing wands and the broomsticks? It kind of pulls you into that territory. Whereas if you're saying that magic is more about intent and energy working, to say somebody's a muggle, that's implying that they can't work with energies, or they can't have a strong intent that they can layer like correspondences with. Everybody can do that, so it just depends whether you want to or not. I think it's a silly egotistical word to use.
It is. And you see, Amber, the page says she hears muggle more than she needs to, first thing, from grown folk and not children. And that's where the problem lies, because now you have, how do you explain to a child who is a muggle what makes a person a muggle? How do you explain that to a child? Right? For me, all children are magical. All children are magical until society gets a hold of them. They're all magical, right?
Well, who's qualified? Who's qualified to say one is and one isn't?
I know.
Who has credentials?
I just think, but I think that it was the Hollywood premise that just took off and went in a totally different direction than it should have, right? Yeah. But I do hear it in the witchy community a lot. Okay. All right.
I'm gobsmacked.
Yes. All right. So, second question. What is the one thing that doesn't cost anything? It occurs naturally, but it always makes you smile.
Pebbles. Stones.
Okay.
Love them. And I have got a caravan in Wales by stony beaches. There's stones everywhere, and I always walk on and I find something that just, and they're not crystals, they're not ripping out mountains, people just step over them, and they're inconsequential to so many people, and yet I just love them. And I'm just using my Weaver's Oracle, and I pulled the bear card for this new moon cycle, and she's the stone bearer, the carrier of stone, and she releases the mouths of rocks to tell the story to the landscape. And I just connected so deeply with that thought that this memory and story and secret words embedded in stones. So I love stones. I feel like I'm catching bits of memory when I pick one up, and they're just stepped over. People ignore them, and I love them.
Exactly. Yeah. You have anything? Why?
I saw, is it Leanne Smith said wind, and I kind of had the same when there is, like when I feel like the wind are talking to me, then I naturally kind of smile within. Like it's not like happy haha smile, but then you kind of open up. You feel like, okay, there are spirits, they're listening, and I'm able to listen back, and that that feeling is naturally it will give me a smile. Yeah.
Nice. And Laura says the sounds of birds. Yeah. Do you have anything for us, Courtney? Should I call you Courtney or Ren?
Either. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Daffodils.
Oh. Yeah. I know, right?
They're so happy.
Yeah, I know, right? Daffodils, they make me smile. That just sunshiny yellow, right? It's just gorgeous. For me, it's when my cat's purring. Like the purr box is like escalated. It's just insane how much that actually like calms me. And when I was younger, I used to be afraid of that sound. I didn't know what it was. I did not know. And it took me watching a Charlie Brown movie with Lucy explaining that it was the cat's motor was running. And I always associate that. And that's how I got over my fear of being around cats. Because, we grow in the West Indies, there's a superstition about cats, and not just in the West Indies, cats taking the lives of babies and da-da-da. I know you've heard this. Right. Okay.
I
Right.
haven't.
So,
Yeah, when
really?
they're sleeping, the cat will
Yeah,
get
that's
up and
news
the
to
cat
me.
gets in the crib and will suck the life out of the baby.
Ooh.
That's an old wives' tale. Basically, what it is the cat's attracted to the milk that the baby had. That's really what it comes down to. But it's an old wives' tale. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Lennon. There is something about thunder too. Yes. Okay. Last question to get us going. Yes. All right. So, what are you wearing on your feet
Like right now?
right now?
I'm too old to pick my leg all the way up. So I'm going off
I hear you.
Christmas socks.
Oh,
Okay.
It's a cat slipper.
Bare feet. Okay.
They're not even matching. I've got a grey sock on that foot.
Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I think most of you will be expecting me to wearing something like this, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah.
We have like kind of like
I'm wearing
procession.
these.
Oh, yes, I love those.
That's what I'm wearing right now because
we've got
it's chilly.
opposite ends of the spectrum here. We've got cute over here with Y and a monster by outside.
It's kind of like a gentle procession: bare feet, sock, slipper,
Right?
and then monster feet.
Is that monster feet? I love them. I fell in love with these things. Like, oh my God. And I could wear those around the shop too if I wanted to. So just imagine I'm all dressed up and then I have my monster feet on.
You have those?
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. So real talk, real connections. You guys know that I'm using these decks from the And Project. And if you've been watching some of the previous episodes, these are not questions that I come up with. I just shuffle, pull a couple of questions. You're not obligated to answer any questions. You don't have to. But they're just because I wanted to do something that's centered around humanness. Okay. We sling cards and we talk about the woo and the esoteric and everything. But this is the only way that we really can get to engage as human beings, just like this. Right. And so when are we going to have the real conversations? I know a few weeks ago, I called Candy just out of the blue, because that's what I do. I call Lennon out of the blue just for chit chat, because even though, I do all of this, I look like all of this, sometimes I know what it takes to get up out of bed every morning. Okay. I'm feeling energized and I'm looking to, forward to the day and everything like that. But as the day progresses, sometimes it's just like, oh man, I just, sometimes I want a hug. Sometimes I want someone to say, are you upright? Did you eat today? The people that I work with, I'm lucky because Sterling has to remind me, even if he sends me a text message, did you have lunch today? And it'll be 5:00, So just things like that. So I'm going to start us out with the strangers deck, because I always ask this question: when do we go from being strangers to friends? Right? And for me, friendships they're work, right? Relationships, you work at them, right? But they're supposed to change and grow, prune away some things, maybe the initial attraction was there and then something wears off and you continue to grow. they're supposed to metamorphosize, is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because as you grow, now sometimes you can have friends. I've heard of people having friends for years. I'm not one of those people. I do not have long lasting friendships. I have very few friends. I have a few acquaintances. I have people that I know. And why? Because I'm demanding of my friends. Meaning, my expectation is that I want you to step into being the best of who you are. That's what it is for me, right? It's not doing anything for me, it's for you, if that makes any sense. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
completely. Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
all right. So sometimes people say, my energy is too strong. And that's one of the posts, kind of something like what I posted on my Instagram today. Like some people are going to say, da da da. Well, those are not the people for you, right? And that's something I had to learn as well. I wanted to be who does not want to be liked? Who does not? Everybody wants to be liked, right?
Yep.
But try as we might, there's you're not always going to make that connection. You're not always going to make that. You're not always going to fit in. You're not always going to be accepted. And you know what? That has to be okay. That's something that I'm learning as well, especially this journey, especially since like last September, is that I am not going to fit into every realm. I'm not going to fit into everything. I want everybody to come together. I want hatred across the board to be eradicated. I'm serious. That is my goal
Mm-hmm.
in this life. Across the board, hatred eradicated, not tolerated, not accepted, not blown off, not, swept under the carpet, eradicated. I might have a better chance of coming up with a cure for cancer.
Oh, I mean, at least it's intriguing to think that way, because if you dig deeper enough, it's scientific. There's a method to it, right? It's just you and that disease. But when it's become hate, there's so much variation. There's so much factor. There's so much circumstances, life experiences. I think you probably will achieve curing cancer before you cancel hate.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But then but again, we have to get to the root of why this comes up, right? And I think the root is because this doesn't happen between people.
Yep.
Things happen, right? This does not happen. People have forgotten how to sit down with each other and just have an exchange. We don't have to agree on anything. We don't have to agree on everything, right? Yep. But the one thing that we should do is be respectful of each other and hear each other out, right? Just like when I had asked, what's on your feet? All of us had something different, right?
Yep.
No one was judged. No one was criticized.
Well,
okay.
Mine is not as fancy.
Okay.
Oh no, it was
all right.
wasn't it?
All right. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. What do you think I have yet to learn about myself? And I want each of you to think of asking that question of yourself and then each other. Right? So, like, I have watched Candy blossom. I have watched Courtney come out of her shell. A little bit. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, Courtney and I, we have a history. I did not know this woman. I didn't know what she looked like or anything. Vaguely, Courtney, vaguely. I still don't know. All I know is that you what?
I love you.
Oh, see, she would send me a message on Facebook. I remember when I think I got the web camera the first time. She sent me a message on Facebook. don't have the camera too close to the cards. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? It was just like that, not, hey, you know, I want to talk to you. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, blah, 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 blah. She was just like, don't hold it too close to the cards, da, 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 right?
When I was helping you to be your best.
See, that's what I'm saying. And I didn't take it the wrong way, right? I didn't take it the wrong way. Now, mind you, I still really had no idea of what this woman looked like. I had vague, okay, so I knew she was white. I couldn't pick, that was it. I couldn't have picked her out of a lineup. And I knew that I knew that she loved cats. She loves animals. She had a ton of decks that she was getting rid of. And she just engaged with me and we live in the same, within maybe corridor, a couple of hours. Yeah, the same corner of the world. But she just engaged with me. You know what I mean? So Courtney, you know, this is for you. I'm just saying. Because I remember I had on a blouse once. Remember I did, remember, right? I did a recording and I had on a burgundy blouse. And I think I made a comment. So you guys know I don't edit my videos, right? I think I made a comment. And she sent me a message like, oh, I thought it looked fine, or something like, I don't know, something like that. And then when she came live on YouTube, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what this beautiful soul looks like. Like, wow, I'm so glad she's present. I'm so glad she's here, and she's soft, and
Look,
she
now,
knows
don't
her
be
own
giving away my
mind.
secret. Now stop it now. Now don't talk about candy. Come on, we'll change the subject.
So, I know. So only you would know, like, what do you think I have yet to learn about myself? I don't know. Like I said, each one of you, I'm telling you what I have seen as an outsider, how you have grown before my eyes. Why is another one. Like, dude, you came in, like, you just lit up the Tuberverse. You just lit up. You came in with a new vibe, this new energy, you know, and then, you know, when you combine with Zach and Annika, it's just a totally different vibe. It's welcoming, it's open. And, you know, a lot of times, so I watch a lot of you guys, even if I'm not interacting, like I've got you on and I'm listening and I'm like, oh my God, this content, the interaction I love it. It's so beautiful, right? So I don't know if this could apply to any of us. We always have things to learn.
I just
Maybe.
Say,
yes, dear.
I'm going to interrupt you again because, you know, whatever. So with Wise Channel, he comes off and he every time I watch him, I'm laughing. I'm always laughing. He always brightens my day. And when we were in the middle of all this foolishness we've been going through, I would watch Why and laugh. I mean, you couldn't not laugh.
You can't help not, right? Exactly. So exactly.
But then, you know, there are some videos that he just gets real, you know, he gets really real. So it's not all about, you know, oh, I'm an actor and I'm going to make everybody happy and everything. But sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to be real now. And it's just so wonderful to see all those sides of you. Why? Oh. It's just wonderful to see all of that. And I really appreciate your content because, like I said, you make my day every time I watch you.
Oh, good. Thank you. If that question is directed to, because I don't know Candy, I don't know Courtney in person, so I can only answer, and I have like, you know, a couple exchanges with Queen Osset. But if that question is directed to myself and I'm asking myself, it's weird that I know that I'm learning to love myself, but that immediately, that was like the answer to that question is, how do I even further to love myself? Like, I'm on the journey to completely loving myself, but at the same time, this, you know, bad habit or that negative shadow back there just keep on nagging, and it's a journey. It's never ending.
So. I love you enough for both of us.
Yeah.
If I was going to say about the three of you, for me, the three of you, when I watch all three of you, I love your confidence, which then in turn is telling me something about myself, because I watch you, Queen of Set, and I just think, I wonder if she realizes how spectacular she is, and like the confidence in your presence that comes off you. And and there you go. Look, Ren's just given an example of her confidence. Why you shine. And I watch all three of you and think, oh, look how confident they are, which again is pointing to me thinking that, oh, perhaps I'm not, I've got to work on the confidence. But for the three of you, do you realise how you lift people up with how confident you are? Do you all three of you understand that? And the glamour of you, Queen of Set, you make me want to at least go and brush my hair a bit more.
That is the honest truth, because I was like, oh God, here we go, going live again. I'm just gonna put a cap on. I don't know, and no time for this. And then she's always like,
oh man, I'm gonna have to put makeup on now.
Listen, you make a choice to be like what you do, what's comfortable for you, right? And so that's kind of, we're talking about this. I'm going to do a video. This is something I've been mulling over for the past couple of weeks, which is imposter syndrome, which is a label that society puts on us. And I'm going to speak on it a little bit, but I'm also going to give, I give tools about how to manage it, just in the small tubiverse, like I did in parts of my depth here. Those little nuggets, right? I'm not going to write a book. I'm not coming from a psychological aspect, but I'm giving you some tools, things that work for me so that I can come across this way, and I have to give thanks to my father and my drill sergeant when I was in the military. My father said, you only need to speak to one person in the class. You only need to have one student. If you conduct a workshop or a seminar, you only need one person to show up. And then you're on. And you give that one person your best.
Yep.
That's it.
That's exactly my philosophy in life. Before YouTube, anything else for being an actor, everybody's like, oh, the struggle is so real, but what do you don't eat, you're a struggling artist, which I don't like that term. But why do you do this? And I always say, if my performance can touch one person, which I don't know who, right? Because they come to the theater, they come to see my YouTube channel. I don't know what they're going through. But if my performance can affect one person to think, to feel, to forget, then my job is done. And I can, when I die, I can say, I don't know what I have achieved, but I make one person laugh. I make Courtney, I make Courtney laugh. And that's good.
You can die now.
No, you cannot die now. No, we have too much. We have too much to do.
I just want to throw in one thing, because we really didn't talk too much about Candy. And I just want to say one thing about Candy.
Go ahead.
I don't know Candy from anyone, but when I watch you up there, Candy, right there, all I think is sweetness personified. Just the sweetest person. Just I don't know how else to say it. I just think you're so incredibly sweet. And isn't that funny that your name is Candy? But I think that you're just so incredibly sweet. That's what I see. And it's just is wonderful. It's just this warm feeling I get from you.
I mean, look at her space.
I know,
right? It's fairyland, right? It's those. So wonderful. I know Candy had done something with those candy hearts that tends to come out around Valentine's Day. It's like you live in a candy box. You live in a sweet shop or something. Look at that, right? Look what you see behind me. Books. In front of me, books, fabric, books. You know what I mean? And plants. Shoes. Yeah, right.
You should appreciate that in yourself, Candy, huh? You should appreciate that in yourself a little more, you think? That's a valid thing to be. That's like really a good thing, to be really sweet and wonderful and warm. Is good.
Oh, thank you.
I know this world. It was made for us. It was. It's just that things try to edge us out. That's
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And when you need to rest, then you rest. But you got to come back in guns blazing, because this world was made for us, people like us, people who want to see the betterment of human beings. Right? We can't pull back. We can't put our head, in the sand. I know we want to bury beneath the covers, and you do that, right? Everybody needs that healing period, that healing moment. But then you come up, you exhale, like, right? Because even now in the where we're living in a time where we're holding our breaths, like waiting for the next thing to happen.
Mhm.
That's where I feel I am. Like I'm holding my breath every day, every week. We're in the third month now, 9 months left into the year. And I wake up every morning and I'm okay. I give thanks. I look out like, okay, I'm still here. But I feel like I'm moving through the day holding my breath,
Mhm.
especially over the past few weeks. And I don't want to live that way. You know, I don't. So it's like we have to take back the world, but we have to get back to this place of, we have to get to the root of things. And I keep saying, I'm going to keep talking about it because that's what I'm preaching. The root is rotten. The root is diseased. We have to dig it up. We have to cut off the disease parts and allow something good to come through, you know?
Mm.
What is something your parents taught you that you now know is wrong?
Do we have 4 hours?
You can get it done in 4 hours. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
Really?
girl. I mean,
Any one thing?
there's one thing. Hold my tongue. Especially now, especially right
Especially,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, like there's so much, and that's what I've been struggling for the past 2 weeks. Like genuinely struggling, because even though the way that I present myself, I censor, I edit, I carefully plan what I want to say, right? Should I say this? Will I offend someone? What about this? What about that, right? And then even that thought of like, just hold your tongue, it's okay. You have been fighting through all your life, just one more battle, just keep on going. And that's exactly what they taught me, right? And I appreciate that sentiment, that got to like push it through. Survivor, fighter, warrior, we have that. But at the same time, I'm like, being a silent fighter or just sip it and just keep on going. Sometimes, as of right now, I feel like that. So there's a lot of fine tuning and adjusting for me right now in life to learn that. Especially, I'm now in America, right? I have the privilege, I have the right, in a way, to actually speak out rather than being censored constantly, right? So I'm learning where the fine tune on that one. So that's one just jump out of my mind.
For me, the fact that my opinions and my feelings, more importantly, are not valid. That's what I was taught. There was one person in the house that was allowed to have feelings on every possible thing that could ever happen, but you show any feeling at all in return and we were punished. So the fact that my feelings weren't valid, and that has knock-on effects into lots of different areas in life. I mean, you end up running around people pleasing, making sure other people are right because your feelings aren't valid. It's all about keeping other people happy, keeping things calm, keeping everything ticking over. It affects the way you try and control things because life becomes like a game of chess. If you can't just sit down and take a breath and say, actually, I'm feeling like this, and you're so busy trying to keep everybody else happy, you're running around in circles like a headless chicken playing a game of chess, trying to keep steps ahead of everybody. So it has a massive impact, and it has taken me it's taken me the last decade really to unpack it, to understand it, and to move through it, and to learn to sit back and to hand people their bags back and say, that's about you, there's your bag back, you carry that. And and it's taken a half a lifetime to actually even see it, just because I think if it's given to you at ground zero when you're little, it becomes normal, doesn't it? So it's really hard to see. So I think owning my own feelings, and my art has really helped me to unpack that and to explore it through art. I think if I didn't have an art studio, I would have needed about 8,000 therapists to get to the point that I am at now. So yeah, owning my own feelings, and that's okay.
Courtney, do you have anything?
I've been
No.
I've been sitting here trying to think of something, and I just found that I really find that as I'm getting older, my parents were more right. From what I learned from my parents, than
Good.
not. I think so. I'm sorry, I don't have much to contribute on this
You don't?
topic.
No, that's fine. And sometimes that's a blessing. Not sometimes, that is that your parents allowed you to come into you, allowed you the space to
Especially my
grow.
dad. Yeah, my dad
Right?
is wonderful. Yeah.
You know, both of my parents were Gemini, so it really
Both of
seriously
my
was
parents are
like.
Gemini. Oh, sorry.
But both
Both
of
of
your
my
parents,
parents are Gemini. Just saying.
it was like living with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in my house. Yeah, it was
I found
crazy
that with my
sometimes.
mom. My mom was a Gemini. My mom was like that. I never knew when she was going to go off. My dad is
Exactly.
very wonderful. I mean, he's a science guy and he's wonderful, and he's also a Gemini. They were born 3 days apart. But my mom was like, I never knew what kind of situation I was walking into when
Listen,
you walk into the room with her, right?
yeah, exactly. But my mother wanted me to be like her. My mother was a career woman, but she had children, it was always home and family and dinner on the table and all of that sort of thing. And I was more with my dad, installing toilets and doing plumbing and changing oil on the cars, and that used to cause the contention between my mom and I because she didn't feel that it was feminine, right? Um, you know, when people tell you things about yourself, you start to adapt those things and say, well, why should I prove you wrong? Right? My mother used to say to me that you can't boil water. You can't boil an egg. So I didn't cook for the longest time. Right? I didn't cook. I didn't want to. It was just, it's like, okay. But, in a way, it's almost like a cop out to do that because there are times when I want to be taken care of and I want to be super effeminate. Like, I don't know if that makes any, like, I want to have my Scarlett O'Hara moment. Like, oh, like, I want to be, I'm having a meltdown. I need a break or something, you know what I mean? And just be totally discharged, not on all the time. And that's not necessarily feminine, but that's the only place I can speak from. So while you talk about this thing, like what I feel is like I'm a warrior all the time. That's what was ingrained in me. Like, you are here to protect. You are the eldest girl. You are here to serve. You're the eldest girl. You're here to make sure everyone else is taken care of. You're the eldest girl. That's what I grew up with. So even that has carried forth with me right now. And just once I would like, and I said this, I would like someone to say, Offset, why don't you just take a break?
I get
Really, right? Just take a break. And that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't posted. I've been posting, I'm not going to say sporadically on YouTube, is because I haven't posted because I don't want to.
Well, get on that.
See, I just didn't want to. I'm coming out now. I'm emerging now because Candy did a reading a week or so ago, and I felt like she was reading me. And I'm like, do you remember what I said on that, Candy? Like, okay, it's time for the lion to come out of the cave. I'm feeling that, you know? But sometimes I think what happens, especially here on YouTube, we feel like we have to just keep producing and putting content out and doing that. And that's one of the things I want to talk about imposter syndrome as well. Like, you know what? It's okay to take, I'm learning this. It's okay to take a breather. It's okay to step back. It's okay not to interact. It's okay not to give a thumbs up, thumbs down. It's okay not to comment. It's okay. It's okay not to look at your phone first thing in the morning or last thing at night. It's freaking okay. Because who is meant for you will still be there for you. And that's something that I've learned in the past few months.
Mm. You've become your own person telling yourself to take a break.
Yeah. Mm. You know, you're talking to someone who is always on. And I think when I had Lennon on, she asked me, is there ever a time where you just are not on? And I said, no. When I think about it, I am always on. Always.
Is it you pushing yourself to always be on, or is it life?
Yeah. It's a combination of both.
Mm.
Remember what I said about imposter syndrome? So life says I should be something.
Right.
The family I grew up in says I should be something. My ego says I should be something. Mm. All I want to do is sew. I just want to, you all don't seem to understand. Like a kid with a box of crayons. That's all I want to do. I just want to stay home and massage my fabric and play with my shoes and just get lost in that world. And you know what? I'm building that. I'm working on that.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a 2-part question here. I'm going to ask three questions. What mistake have you learned from? What mistake have you learned the most from? Okay. What do you think you were born to do, but you aren't doing? And what is your proudest accomplishment? First question, what mistake have you learned the most from? All right, I'll go.
Go, please go.
I'll go. It's not a mistake. It's something that's ingrained in me, I guess. I am not necessarily the most tactful person.
No. Oh, sorry.
And this year, 2020, I have learned how to say, I made a mistake. I am sorry. And like really mean it, like feel that person's pain, you know, feel their discomfort and say,
you were always like that.
Am I?
Yeah, you didn't just learn that. You've been like that. You've been like that. No. Look a little harder. You'll find that. It's been there.
I guess maybe I'm expressing it more outwardly now. Like, you know.
Maybe you're recognizing it in yourself now. And you just didn't realize that you were that person all along.
And I think what it's caused me to do is probably to be more mindful, because I used to just go around cutting off heads, like, done, off with your head, out of here. I don't care. Be quiet. Nothing to talk about. Why are you still here? You're breathing. Why? You know what I mean? Like, now I'm learning. Huh?
Nothing.
Oh. See, now I am actually learning. This is an exercise for me. I am learning how to walk the talk. Bullshit walks. I'm learning to put my money where my mouth is. I can't want to have conversation and not open myself up to conversing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm.
I can't be afraid to have conversations.
Mm.
Well, you must be brave. You had me on.
You know, I think you were easy. Yeah, I'm giving away a secret. I think you're fairly easy, Courtney. I do.
Yeah, you tell
Courtney
all my
sits a lot. I know. Courtney used to reach out to me like early in the morning. Like seriously, like she knew probably that I was up at 4 or 5 o'clock or something. And she would just say, you know, because I'm still reading. Can you believe I'm still reading that freaking book? Like I have not finished that book.
Oh my God.
The one that I'm recording on my YouTube channel. And the only time I read it is when I sit down to record it. Yes,
Yeah,
you read the whole series. I have all the books, and the only time I read that book is when I'm sitting and I'm recording. And I'm like, why am I not reading this? Nope. What you hear, the flubs and everything, that's it. Yeah. So that was my lesson, my mistake. Anybody else? Come on now.
Yeah, not listening to my gut. Not listening to my intuition, taking me down rabbit holes of abuse with people. And yeah, I probably got caught into a 20-year cycle of abuse with not listening to my gut. And being out the other side of it, looking back, I've had people say, hey, could you not see things? And I looked and I thought I did see things, but I wouldn't allow myself to believe it. And it's been interesting because the universe has sent me the same lesson a few times, 3 times. The first time I was stuck there for like 15 years. The second time it took me a year to trust my gut. And the third time it took me 6 dates. So because we're in the realm of relationships, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, 13 years to 1 year to 6 dates, and that last one of 6 dates, I got to the point where I realized you don't have to wait for concrete evidence before you go, enough, bye-bye. Because if your gut's churning up and telling you that should be enough. So that's been a massive lesson. I wish I'd have learned it quicker, but sometimes it just takes the time it takes.
Anything? Why?
Kind of the same area, intuition.
Trusting your intuition.
Yeah, and when I see the mistake, I have a tendency to hold on to, how did I not see it? Oh my God, you are so stupid. Or like, what is that supposed to mean? And I don't know it's because of my upbringing or whatever, but there's a guilt to it that is deeply ingrained in my in my upbringing. So I would always turn against me, like in immediately is pointing finger at me. Oh, you forgot. How stupid are you? Forget the key. So in a way, I feel like the universe has been kind of being more gentle of a reminder, and I just need to really be in the moment and sit and listen and trust. And then if things go bad or not as planned, then I also have to accept it rather than that. So yeah, that's one of the mistakes, I think. Courtney?
So,
Why?
right? Courtney.
I don't know. Lots. I don't have any intuition, so there's that. If I know in my gut that it's gonna rain, the sun will shine. So, I don't know. I mean, my guy tells me that, I mean, this is not coming from me because I don't know, but my guy tells me that I give people the benefit of the doubt too much. So people hurt me and they did, hurt me. And I keep saying, well, they're still good people, or that's still a good person, or that they, whatever, and they couldn't help it, and give them all these excuses, I guess, for why it's okay for them to hurt me. I guess. I think maybe.
Everyone is allowed one. I say that. Everyone's allowed one.
I already got that one. That one is gone, so I'm good. I'm on the right track.
Right. Everyone is allowed one. Hi, Lisa. And meaning, like, I don't think. I know that there's some people who set out to intentionally hurt you, and our spidey senses are kind of aware of that. But then there are times when I think, we relax our guard, and that allows others to come in and hurt us, right? Whether it's by their actions or their words. I would, my advice is, my 2 cents, my advice is, the mistakes are the mistakes. Here's the thing. Short of taking another person's life, there is nothing that you cannot undo. We're the ones that makes the experience of the mistake. See, it's not the mistake. It's the experience of the mistake, how it made us feel, right? Because nobody wants to feel crappy. We're the one that takes it, like you just said, why, like stupid and all. Why? Why would you say that to yourself? Why? Don't say that. Never again. I'm giving you an order. Never again call yourself stupid. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Never. Don't do that.
We will hunt you down.
I will. I will come and visit you at night. Okay. I will stand by your bed. All right.
We'll get a caravan.
Yeah, you told me where you live, why? So.
Oh, I did tell you where I live.
It is
never, ever, ever. Yes. Don't never do that to yourself. Never. Never do that. When I was going through basic training, I had a drill instructor who he always trained men until he got to us. We were his first female group. So he had no clue what to do. So he treated us just as humans. That's it. We were known by our last name, and that was it. And I remember I was going through grenade training. Grenade. So you want to learn how to develop your intuition? Hold a live grenade.
Oh, no.
Okay? Yeah.
I'd be dead.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. If you listen, and this is what he taught me. He taught me how to listen. He taught me how to listen to what he was telling me so that I can stay alive and keep him alive as well. He trusted me enough to know that I was not going to let that grenade go before its time. And he taught me, you have to trust yourself, trust your intuition. What is intuition? What does that have to do with throwing a grenade? Like da 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 da. Was something about like pulling all your energies back to center to something just starts to vibrate within you, and you hear like now, now, now. And when I learned how to make that connection, I mean, I'm an expert marksman for that. Okay. But he taught me to listen to myself. He gave me the instruction, but he taught me how to listen with a live grenade. Let it go. I would pull that pin, let it go. No, too soon, because the enemy can throw it back to you. He taught me all these things. He taught me how to learn to listen to myself and trust myself. And I know it's bizarre because many people go to magic school and to learn about the intuition and all that shit. And I'm like, I learned about my intuition listening to myself in a foxhole wearing combat boots. and you listen to that and you silence everything around you. Like you can hear, those of you who work with plants, you can, if you hold the plant, like you can hear the vibrate, you can hear the plant, you can hear the animals talking. I know, listen, I'm going off on a thing. I'm going to be doing a Patreon thing, but that's what I'm saying. So I know when Courtney says you have no intuition, it takes practice for you.
First, get a foxhole.
Okay, I'll come and help you dig one because that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, we can hang out in the foxhole. I like that.
Someday.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You said something really interesting. You said when you were talking about grenade training, like coming back into yourself, and it just really resonated with me because when I recovered after leaving an abusive situation for years that I was in, it did feel like a soul retrieval. I had to pull all the bits that had been literally ripped out of me back, and it really, when you were talking, I thought that is exactly the same as me. There were no grenades, physical grenades, but emotionally there had been grenades thrown for years, and it was exactly the same thing. It was coming back into yourself, forming the boundaries, and then that's where the self-trust came in. But that soul retrieval to ground,
I know.
really resonated.
What is your proudest accomplishment? Mr. Personality, come on now.
This sounds so
No, you're being judgmental. No, nope, don't preface it.
Thank you.
I need you to own. No, I need you to own your greatest accomplishment. Don't preface it.
Making it in America.
Okay. Ashe, kudos, yeah. Because this is a freaking battlefield. Like damn.
Like against a lot of odds that from my family, from society. Oh, you want to be an actor? This is stupid. And then being able to push it through and I'm doing what I love, what I'm meant to do. So I feel like that's one of them.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you came to America. Just thank you.
Me too. I'm glad you're here. I don't know how I discovered you. All I knew is that one late night you were on, and I was like, oh my God, this is a juicy situation here. I need to watch this. Who is this person? They got these decks and they're just talking live and like, it's like cocktail hour when Y is on. Like, hey, I'm just loving it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. You, Courtney, what's your greatest accomplishment?
Yeah. I think learning to be on my own is a big one. I've been in a couple of really abusive relationships as well. And I was married at 18. First one, went from one, long story, but basically I was not alone. And I think that I have a big fear of being alone and having the ability to take care of myself and feeling like I'm competent enough to take care of myself. And after I left the second abusive relationship, which I was in for 15 years, I learned that I can take care of myself. I mean, I take care of my daughters, took care of my daughter as well, but I mean, that's different. That was big because I was afraid of it. I'm probably still afraid of it, but I know that I can do it.
Andy?
Finding a little boy called Bobby in the middle of the Ukraine. Before I was on YouTube, when blogging was all the rage, I used to blog about being a special needs mom because if you don't know, my eldest daughter has something called spaghetti syndrome. Oh, we're echoing. Who's echoing? And through blogging, I discovered a charity called Reese's Rainbow. And they used to, they still do, they adopt special needs children out of Eastern Europe, so like in Russia and the Ukraine and all the places where any child with a disability or a handicap is like the awful places where you see them chained in cots still at 20. And I just got heavily involved in fundraising to try and raise the unbelievable amounts of money it costs for anybody to adopt any of these children out. It just broke my heart because Tilly, for me, she's so magic, and to see these other children with disabilities just being abandoned, it literally broke my heart. So I started fundraising for some of these children, but there was this one little boy called Bobby on the website, and he had no information at all. The photograph was horrific, and it just said, help me, I'm in a remote institution, I have no hope without you. Oh, I'm going to cry. And I read that and I just thought, gosh, there's nobody behind me queuing up to go and help. So I got on a plane to the Ukraine. I'm going to cry. And
Wow.
and I had one photograph. Nobody would give me any information because it was against the law to give out information about where these children were. It was all done secretly. You had to be into the adoption process to get any information. So all I'd got to go on was a photograph of a guy in a charity that had been photographed with another boy that I knew was in the same institution, and I managed to contact him. So I had one mobile phone number, that's all I had, and I managed to find him, and he was like in the middle of nowhere. It's a 16-hour train ride from through the Ukraine to this unbelievably remote institution. And when I pulled up, there were like graves all dug, ready to take the children out. The
Oh
children
my gosh.
Yeah, and I spent 4 days in there. I mean, they closed doors, but because I got contact with this charity that worked with the institution, they opened the doors to me, and I spent 4 days there taking photographs. I got more information, and I couldn't find him. There were so many kids there, and on the last day I found him, and that was unbelievable. And I managed to get about 20 kids listed, and a lot of them now are adopted, and they're in America. So, and they'd only ever adopted one kid ever from that place, and Bobby is now in a home in America. And when I saw that he was being adopted, I just thought that if I died tomorrow, I've done something good. I got him out of that place because it was horrendous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's wow. Fantastic. Okay. I want us to do like a little ceremony ritual before we go, because I know Y has to go soon. Okay. And I know in the bottom of the email I sent a list of things. So if you have any of those things, you can have them. If you don't have any, don't worry about it. You can do this at the playback. It's not that deep. It's not that intense. But I have to get one other thing.
I came unprepared.
I'm looking at the email right now.
I spotted
Salt,
the
I think.
food at the bottom about 2 minutes before we went live, so I've got a few things, but not all of them.
Okay. So in a Yoruba wedding, we have something that we do called tasting the elements, right? So we don't just say the words. The words, the vowels aren't just said. We do something called a tasting. And so we have certain things that represent elements, but not elements in the Western mind, earth, air, fire, water, not that way. But I don't know how to explain it, like more tangible sort of elements, right? So we don't just say the vows, we speak a commitment to each other, and we speak commitment to the earth as well. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I'm committed to you guys and my audience And I'm definitely committed to Mother Earth to do everything I can to bring healing. Okay. So, salt, we use salt, we taste salt because salt brings flavor, and we ought to remember to bring the flavor to life. Okay, salt also represents the abundance. Allow the abundance, and I'm not talking about just money, but all the good things to be unhindered. And salt is also to remind us to enhance each other. You know, when you add salt to a dish, it enhances the flavor. That's salt, right? Water. As we say, as Stella would say, water has no enemy. Nothing happens without water. Nothing. Birth, life, death. Nothing happens without water, right? But water for us is coolness and flexibility, right? So you've heard the same about flowing like water. So you have water. It allows us to stay calm and compassionate, especially in challenging times. Water. Hot pepper. Well, I have something called Atari, but right now I'm bringing out my chili. Red crushed peppers, right? Atari pepper. So hot pepper to remind us that yes, there will be hot times to come, you know, challenging times to come, that we're not always going to see eye to eye. But we must remember that what I do to you, I'm going to do to myself. Nobody walks away with their hands clean. Okay? Peppers also serve to remind me that my decision affects all of us. Your decision affects all of us. Okay? But peppers are also about the passions and the drives that keep us getting up every day, right? No matter what's going on, we ought to remember the passion of life itself and not to be jaded by all the bullshit that tends to go on around us. Pepper. Okay? Oni, as we say, oni, honey. Okay, so in the ceremony, we're tasting each of these things to remind, you know, you're giving your mate this. So honey, oni. Okay, this is to bring the sweetness to our lives. You taste this. We always say honey on the tongue, right? So that time when you want to go off on somebody, honey on the tongue, like, okay, right? This honey helps me remember that our community can be filled with good things, sweet things. Okay. I don't have any cola nut, but I have something that's made from cola nut. And if you're out and about, you might see it. It's called Bissy. Bissy. Bissy, you see that's cola nut tea, right? So cola nut is actual nut, and it's one of the things that we use when we do divination. Cola nut. Okay, so the cola nut is for longevity because the cola nut tree is old and it continues to bear fruit, and we use it for all kinds of things and such like that. Okay, so the cola nut is to remind us that our bonds will continue to grow and be long lasting. Okay, palm oil. I have palm oil here. See, palm oil is for smoothness and wealth for all of us. That our interactions, our engagements, and all of that will be smooth. Like, look how the computer, internet's working today. Everything's running smoothly and all of that, right? And as well, you know, blessings and abundance of wealth for all of us that we may never need for anything. If I have it, you have it. Okay? Palm oil. And OT. can't have it. Let's see. This is what my ancestors like. $25 a bottle. Okay, I can't give them Bacardi. This is what they need. OT, rum for us. Because they say that a drunk man will speak a sober man's mind. So we use OT for truth and honesty. Always. Okay? So, I am not only committed to you, but I'm committed to the earth herself. I am promising to do the absolute best that I can do as part of this union. Ashe, ashe, ashe. And that's it.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
You're welcome. So before we go, your word for this week is savor. Savor, right? Because sometimes we're so much in the head space and we're not really present each day with everything. But this week, I want us to start a practice of intentionally savoring something at least once an hour, just for 30 seconds, a minute, or whatever. Just savor that moment this week. Right? Just completely allow it to be present and just enjoy that moment.
Here, here.
Any questions?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Anyone have a card? Want to pull a message before we go?
Of course we do.
You guys have your cards. I know, right? Everybody's a card slinger. Go ahead. I've pulled enough cards. You guys pull a card now. Whoop, for the collective. Yeah. Sure, Courtney. Absolutely. That's one of my favorites. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Mine too, really.
Oh.
I really don't use oracle cards. But...
Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords.
Ace of Swords. Mm-hmm.
Idea, and bravery, right. And
new ideas.
If we put ours together, the ideas to come together more and to get community and real friendship and connection.
Yeah. Let's see what Courtney has for us.
Hang on.
While you're shuffling, I want to pull a piece of fabric because Kelly's on. I'm going to show you a piece of fabric because I'm so excited about this piece of fabric. Oh my God.
The bottom of my deck was the Chariot. So movement towards this.
That's my birth card.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the Chariot's my birth card. So, you think that's too much? I'm going to make a pantsuit.
No, not at all. Go for it.
That's not too much. That's just perfect.
No, right? Oh, what did you get there?
Warrior.
Can you see it? My lighting card.
I can see
perfect.
It. It's perfect.
It's a message for you, Queen Aset. You keep telling yourself you're a warrior, but you've got to start thinking about leaning on others more.
I think it's
that's why we do this.
We don't do it alone. Warriors
it's a complete message. We need each other. We need all the warriors together. We all need all the ideas from everybody else, and we have to come together like that. 3 of cups, right?
Yeah, we can still be warriors, but we can lean on each other.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I know. Oh, and that's perfect because we have a full moon in Libra today.
Yay.
Air sign. This is good.
Libras are good.
Yes, Libras are good. Hey, Sadhana. Yes, we are stronger together. We just have some things that we have to work out. You know, we have these quirks that we have to work out with each other, within ourselves, and with each other, so we can take on the big stuff.
Yes.
Because right now I feel like we're trying to fight the big stuff alone. And we know that stronger together, you know, we can make a difference. We can matter. You know, we can make a big, big change. And I think maybe that's why I do this, you know, piecemeal, get to know each other, as opposed to just showing a deck here and there. Like, really just have these conversations, you know, like ask the questions. I am going to Stinky. So I have this cat staying with me. Oh my God, this cat, he's just precious. He's big. He really is a cougar. Oh, he really is. He's a big cat compared to my little Nakia at the shop. Like, Nakia could sit in a teacup. Oh, okay. If I was directly reincarnated from a famous person in history, who was I and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. My first, I don't know what it is. My first instinct, like she just come to me right now, is Marilyn Monroe. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, she just like literally pop into my head.
Girl.
I don't know.
Yes,
So-
girl. Girl.
Oh,
Weird.
you know, Marilyn Monroe was hurting.
Mhm,
She was a very sensitive soul.
mhm.
You know, she was hurting. Okay.
She looked good.
Yeah, she did look good. And but believe me, what experience forged our relationship? I
have to
told
say
you
it was that
all about when
burgundy
I
dress.
met you.
It was
The
that burgundy.
burgundy, really. Yeah. I'm gonna wear it just for you. I am. Uh-huh. What experience?
You made me feel seen. I was very new to YouTube, and you just made me feel seen and more important than I'd felt for a long time, just because I felt seen. So that, I think, I just think you're wonderful.
You're
With-
all right, Austin. You're all right.
Yeah, I have the most out of all three. I think with Queen Osset, I can only, because I haven't have any personal interaction between Candy and Courtney. But with Queen Osset, I remember the first time we were exchanging decks or whatever. So I literally just stand, okay, we'll just exchange deck. But I sent just a deck and some stuff, and then she sent me a box, like a box full of stuff, the deck and the candle and the stone and everything. I was like, who? And the genuine care of the genuine giving, I think, the genuine giving quality of Queen Osset is where our experience, how I see her as a very giving person, because she doesn't need to send me all the other stuff, you know. So thank you for that.
I second that.
I'm sticking with the burgundy dress.
I'm a Leo. We really
I-
just want to see everybody happy, and we
I
want to
know.
just play. That's you know what I mean. And so if I have it, I mean this. If I have it, you have it. If you are looking at, that's right, E. Relationships are important to me, and yes, Kelly. You know, I want everyone to feel heard. Like I said, I made this commitment. I'm only doing what I know how to do from my little square footage on this planet. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with on this planet is because people feel disenfranchised. They don't feel heard. They don't feel respected. They don't feel wanted, So that resentment starts to build up, and then unfortunately it's projected inappropriately. I mean, like, wow, did I just use a whole lot of psycho speak or whatever, right? Psychological. That's what it is. People behave the way that they do, like all of this stuff, because they feel less than, or they feel like they're going to have less than, they feel like, why should that person have it and I not have it? Am I not worthy of that? And so it becomes internalized, it becomes angry. And so in order to feel like they're getting their power back, they behave this. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but that's just what I've been sensing. So I guess maybe what I do, I'm putting out, I'm giving out band-aids, I guess. If you have a wish list,
or tearing down walls, or tearing down
tear
walls,
down
because people,
walls, what, yeah, tearing down those walls. I think, Courtney, you reached out to me first. And that's one of the things I say, like for everybody that I've connected with on YouTube, I've always reached out to them first. I've always made the first contact. Because, I figured, I'm a stranger, so what's the worst that could happen? You just ignore me, blow me off, or whatever. But I do that. And I think Courtney's the only person that ever reached out to me.
well, I'm a Leo moon, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
see? Yeah.
So there's.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about the time you felt most alive.
Right now.
Oh, good.
Right now. Like literally, I just thought about it. Like whatever this transition, this, yeah, most alive right now. Definitely.
That's actually the first thing that came into my head as well. When you said that, I said now in my head.
Okay. Right now, huh?
Wild camping for me, on top of mountains. I love wild camping. Wild camping. Queen said you have to come with me one day.
No, okay. Candy, like seriously.
I know.
Sure.
You only have to carry everything with you and a little spade for your poo, and you'd love it.
When I was talking to...
Did you say little spade for my poo?
When I was talking with Giselle, I said, Osset and I will watch, and you go roll around in the muck and the nature and all that stuff, and Osset and I will sit and watch.
Yes, I'll watch. I'm good with supervising. Yeah, I could do that.
I'll bring the chairs. You bring the wine.
Let me see. What does a good friendship mean to you?
I'm gonna answer because I have to leave right after.
Yeah.
A good friendship is listening. A genuine listening. Yeah, listening for sure. Because I think sometimes we also feel like correcting, which is fine, but without the listening, is a little bit tougher to get to know each other. So I think listening is for me anyway. So yeah.
For me, it's knowing the darkest parts of somebody, the parts that they hide from everybody in the rest of the world, and knowing it, and them knowing my darkest parts as well, and we still love each other. We know it all. I've got a best friend that I've had for 40 years, and literally we know each other's darkest moments, and she couldn't tell me anything that I wouldn't not, that I just adore her. So I think it's that, being fully seen.
Yeah. I would agree with both of that. Um, and yet I don't have a lot of friends. Not that I have a lot of secrets. I don't know. Maybe that's something I just need to think on. I just don't. I do have one good friend. Um, and sometimes it's all you need. It's just that one.
I don't have any friends. I have two,
Yeah.
two. I mean, I like lots of people. I mean, but
Yeah.
I have maybe two friends. My dad is always like that. He's 98, but he
Hmm.
always said that he always had like one or two friends, and he would consider, is this person just someone I like, or is this person a real friend?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I like lots of people, but you know, and I think for me, loyalty is what's most important to me in a friendship.
Yeah.
It's
Loyalty is,
crucial to me.
yeah. Like betrayal of trust is a
Oof.
big thing for me. Like there's no second chances. I'm sorry. There are no
Yeah.
second chances with me.
I'm a Sagittarius that's lived through gaslighting. You lie to me, and it's like I'm with you with the chop your head off, gone.
Yeah.
There's no
Done.
second chances. And I
Say
don't think
that.
you do
Like,
need
You have
many
to stand
friends
by
at
each other.
all.
You have to stand by each other. You
Yeah.
have to stand by each other. I can even put up with
yeah.
lying. My best friend of 30 some odd years, she lies. I mean, people lie. And I can deal with that, but you got to stand by each other. You have to stand by each other. That to me is my friend, is someone who's going to stand with me
Mhm.
and who I will stand with to the end. I mean, fierce.
Right.
That's why I only have friends. you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
I am gonna go. Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Queen of
Why?
Good, for having us.
Thank you so much, Why, for being
Thank you,
here.
Why.
And I
Lovely.
Give
speak.
your mom a
Why?
hug.
I
Give your
will. I
mom a hug.
will. Thank
All
you.
right.
Have
All
fun,
right.
you
Bye.
three.
Why?
Bye.
Bye.
But I don't think you need many friends. I mean, my best friend, we always laugh that we haven't got a circle. We're just standing together on a dot holding hands. There's no circle, it's just a dot, and we're both on it.
I think so. This is where social media gets into play because this is social media. This is an alternate reality. This is an alternate universe. You know, the the relationships that you make online, your subscribership, all of those people aren't your friends. They're there because you give them content. Not many of them are going to be bothered to interact with you and engage with you. Like, hey, you haven't put anything out. Where have you been? Or, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to take it to that next level.
And even if they do, they're not necessarily who they claim to be. Even if they
be,
interact with you, after you
yeah,
interact for a while, you can kind
yeah,
of find out who they really are, and it's not who you thought they were.
right. Um, this tuberverse is interesting to navigate. I'll put it to you that way. And I watched a few people like just throw in the towel. And I'm gonna speak on that when I talk about this imposter syndrome. Like they throw in the towel. Why? Because they measure themselves against something that's not for them. Right? I believe
I did.
everybody has their own journey. Well, you didn't. You came in
I did. I threw in
when
the towel. I deleted all my old content. I wasn't
that's
going to
right,
make
you
any more
did.
videos because I was hurt. Because my expectations were off. I don't necessarily blame the other person. I was off. My expectations were off, and I was hurt. So basically, I hurt myself. And I just threw in the towel and I said, I'm not doing this. And then I realized I came around just recently and I said, well, I'm not doing this for other people. I'm doing this for me. If I want to make it,
Right.
and I don't make money, and I don't even know if I have any subscribers, like two. And I just do it for posterity to remember my own journey and to maybe for my family, my kids, my grandkids, what have you. I mean, it's not about necessarily having a big presence anywhere.
YouTube will certainly keep pulling you back to focusing on why you're doing it.
Some people, unfortunately, don't know why they're doing it. They start a channel with no idea why they're doing it. It just seemed like a fun thing to do at the time. And then the next thing you know, the popularity monster gets a hold of them. Right? And it's the constant, then you get on the hamster wheel. Constantly having to produce, constantly having to put out, constantly have to engage, constantly just to the point where this just becomes your life. And you see it, right? Now, I know that there are people, I guess they make money off of YouTube, but frankly, I prefer to engage in the real world. Like if I want to talk to Candy, I love modern technology for that. That I can call her across the pond and have a conversation that way. Say for Courtney, she'll send me a message sporadically here and there.
Give you a hard time about something.
Yes, exactly. But this world that we've created is, and we are just one tiny facet of the tubiverse, right? And foolishly, I thought that we were much bigger than we are. We're in the grand scheme of things, we're just one. I mean, we're like that. We're like that.
But I mean, I did it to find like-minded people, quotes, like-minded people. And I think a lot of people come into it thinking that. They say, oh, look at all these people who are interested in the same thing I'm interested in. I'm going to make some videos too. And I'll meet people who are interested in the same things I'm interested in and all that good stuff. And it doesn't always really work that way.
It doesn't because
sometimes, but not always.
Sometimes, well, like-mindedness also has its boundaries, right? Because you can say, I want to engage with people who cause me to think, cause me to question, cause me to like sit back and go, and I need to go back and watch that video again. What is it about? Candy did that spread. Like, why? I went back and watched it, wrote it down. Lennon had done a post. I know she's on there. And I engaged her, like, why are you saying this? Why are you saying, like, da-da-da-da-da, what about this? I know, right? But then, you have some people in the tubiverse, like, you can't engage them like that. They become easily offended because their persona, who they are, they've built this persona, and how dare I ask or question or even think? I should just take what they're giving me. And yet you would think that that's a like-minded person. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that whole like-mindedness, it has its boundaries.
Yeah, there's an expectation there that's unrealistic. So that's why
absolutely
got thrown off my horse because there was an expectation that's not.
Okay, so how do we work on, why do we have expectations?
Comparison, comparing yourself to other people. I mean, YouTube can push you to do that sometimes. So, you've got numbers and you've got views and you see people like being posted decks. And I suppose comparison would kick in then. And
I've never owned so
make you think, what? Yeah. And, I'm not saying that that's what I do, but I'm just saying.
Because you see all these people, oh my gosh.
I know. That's.
Or like, just, you get a few, when you get comments and you feel like there's a connection there, and then suddenly, like, it's easy to put your own story onto that, and to forget that you actually don't know you actually don't know people. A few comments doesn't mean that you know people.
Right,
So I think
right.
it's just the stories we tell ourselves in our head, because it's still very limited contact with each other, which is why I love this. Like you said at the beginning, what pushes you from an acquaintance or just somebody you know on social media to actually feeling like you're friends? Now, coming at it from a special needs mom perspective, I mean, I spend a lot of time around children with all sorts of disabilities with Tilly and with her school and with her friendship group. And some of the disabilities that you feel like you can't access at all. Like she had a friend who was severely autistic, non-verbal. You know, you had to really keep close to him because he was a climber as well, and he'd just run and climb, and he'd be on a roof before you could know it. And I was the only person that the mom would ask to babysit. She said, "You're the only person that gets him and that has got a relationship with him." And my ex-husband at the time used to say, how did you get a relationship with him? And it's time. It's always time. And I see it really clearly in that disabled special needs world. It doesn't matter what the barriers are. If you give somebody time, you can forge a relationship. And I think social media is very good at just giving you snippets. It breaks time down. You get a text, you get a comment, there's no real time. And I think that's the difference between where we cross the boundary into friends. We need to give each other time.
Yeah, and be able to see from the other person's perspective as opposed to just layering your own.
Yeah, I think it's a world of snippets and quick video fixes and scrolling and the next video, and I mean, I know I do it myself. I will click on a video and I'm like 5 minutes in, and my attention span is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
And I know it's part of it's probably age, but it's not all age. It's we're being corralled into having no attention span and not being able to give proper time to people. So I think expectation comes from that, the fracturing of our time, because we don't get to know people.
At least not this way. I mean, this way is hard to get to know people this way.
It is.
You meet people at work, you meet people, your kids' school or what have you. There's more of an opportunity there because you see them in real life. But in this format, it's very difficult to make actual friends on this format. For that
Venation
reason,
says,
100%.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Venation, she said that she made some great connections here on YouTube. Well, so have I, Dee. That's why I do this. I know this, right? And that's because, shiny. You cultivate it. It's the time that you put into it, and even with social media, even with this distance right here, you also have to respect other people's time as well. Like with Candy, we're on totally different time zones, and I have to remind myself of that. It just so happened that one night it was, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 o'clock my time. It might have even been later. And I called and she picked up the phone. Like, it was just weird, and then there are times when I've called Lennon and she's just gone to bed or something. I have no concept of time like that. But like you said, it is, putting in the effort, putting in the time, just checking up on someone, see how they're doing, suppose this is all we ever have. You know what I mean?
It's the flip side of the coin. It's the flip side of the coin, because you wouldn't have met these people were it not for social media. But then you have to go that extra step, and you have to say, okay, now that I've met you on social media, in order to foster an actual relationship, an actual friendship, now we have to actually connect in real life. We have to connect. We have to talk on the phone. We have to really put in more of the effort there. But yay for social media, yay for technology, that we're able to meet people from anywhere this way.
And I do love social media for that. I mean, the friendships I have had just on that surface level of connecting on YouTube, I'm not dissing that at all. I've met just I feel like I found a tribe, which I didn't feel like I'd got before. And I think if you're around a while, then some of those first impressions of people that might not have been quite right, because I'm very like, I'll jump in with both feet and want to be everybody's best friend immediately, and I'm learning in life to kind of hold my trust back a little bit. But the majority of it's just been so wonderful. There is a tribe to be met, but like you say, if you want to push it just that bit further, I mean, I know that I phone every month Renee, we're depth year buddies, and that's just been wonderful. Just once a month, a phone call just to check in with each other, and it's enough to push it into something really, extra special. So I think time's really important, but I'm not dissing at all the people that I've met just generally on YouTube. I think it's just a really nice, it puts you in the right ballpark. Then what you do with the ball is up to you, but you're in the ballpark, and I love that. And my subscribers, I mean, I've had phone calls with subscribers and long emails, and I've had some like non-content makers that, like last February, I found really hard, and there was a one subscriber that kept emailing me, and she'll know she is if she's watching, and she buoyed me up and kept me going through some quite tricky things that were going on. So but that, again, it's extra contact, isn't it? I think just the more time we can give each other, and even it doesn't take a lot.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, even just take, when you said finding your tribe, that's a thing too. I mean, if you find your people on social media, because you might be thinking that your people are one thing, when in actuality, there's something else. My people are not necessarily tarot people. My people are witchy people. But when I started making content, I thought it was tarot people. But I found out that it's really witchy people who happen to do tarot.
I like gardeners. People who get the dirty fingernails and tarot, you don't really. It's a tricky game. I'm walking a very tricky line.
I like the dirt too, but see, I'm not where you guys are, and that's one of the things I think that I've learned about myself. Like, someone has to be the one to round everybody up, so to speak, and not be so invested in one thing, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
No, tell me more.
It doesn't. In order for someone has to see the bigger vision and the outcome for the bigger part of the community without being overly emotionally invested in just one, if that makes any sense.
I see that in the real world. I don't see that on social media so much.
But for me, it is. For me on social media, I'm part of this world, and anything that I do, I think of the impact it will make on the whole. So even my content is made with the whole in mind, that I'm putting that information out there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes sense to me only because I took part in Kwanzaa. And do you think it's a race thing? Because Kwanzaa kicked my butt for how I centered my white people are and me. And when you sent me some of those links on, was it creativity? And I thought I did 7 days and I couldn't get out of centric thinking. I just couldn't. And watching your Kwanzaa videos and then some of the links you sent me, it really did make me, it kicked my butt. Kwanzaa week did, that I wasn't outward focused. And part of me was thinking, well, is this the trauma-based place I've come from? Again, we're going back to or is this a cultural thing? Is this an I-centric focus? Is this cultural?
Well, I'm not. Okay, so to say it's race is a cop-out. It's the easy answer. It's not. It's a decision. It really is. Yeah. It's a decision. So we create worlds within worlds as well. I know people here in the United States who don't know anything about Kwanzaa, never heard of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa's been around since the 60s. That's having tunnel vision. That's not wanting to explore or expand or don't have access to, right? And even in this day and age of social media where you could just go to the Goracle and find out anything, that means that the person has made a decision not to know, not to understand. And that's what I said about having these conversations. Before we get to doing, you know, the Kwanzaa stuff and whatever it is, right? So Pesach started yesterday, Saturday, sundown, Passover started. We have to have this interaction, this talk, right? Because Kwanzaa is part of who I am. I'm not African American, right? But it's part of who I am simply because I guess I'm a person of color. But it's beyond that. Kwanzaa is part of who I am because I like the principles of Kwanzaa. And that's what I said. It has no race. It's the principles. And those principles should apply 365, not just the last 7 days of the year. And when I implemented Kwanzaa, I thought, I'm part of a community that's Wiccan based, right? So you have the winter solstice and Yule. And after Yule, nothing. But you still have the rest of to the end of the year. What's happening? So I saw an opportunity to say, oh, let me introduce the community to Kwanzaa so we can finish out the year with something, right? Something meaty that you can chew on and learn from, right? So no, it's not a race thing. Kwanzaa or anything that I feel that I do want to get people out of that being I-centered, right? I want people to see, I'm sharing with you a bit of the world that I experience, what I'm in when I share things with you. Right? Maybe you wouldn't have access to the information that I share with you. If you watch my walk through the Hoodoo Tarot, everything that I recommend, the way I talk about that, maybe you wouldn't have had that. How else would you have access to that information? When I do a deck walkthrough, and it doesn't have to be, created by a person of color, I do the research from my perspective, my experience, and I share that. So I'm less I-centered, and it could be because of my cultural upbringing, my family upbringing. Remember what I said earlier? One of the things that I was taught by my parents, I'm the eldest, so I'm responsible for the youngest. I'm responsible for those who are coming behind me. I'm responsible to make sure that everybody is taken care of. When I was in the military, I was responsible for my own troop, my own soldiers. At my job, I'm responsible for my workers. I'm responsible for certain things to happen. I'm at home. I'm responsible for what happens. Right? So that's why sometimes I go to channels, yours or Lennon's, and I could totally just, Courtney's, and just veg out, because that's when I feel like, okay, now that's information for me. That's something that I can get from me, if that makes any sense.
Well, when I see, that's the thing, like the way I see it is I'm coming at it from the complete opposite direction. So you're thinking globally, you're putting out content that you want to hit the world.
Yeah.
And I'm very insular. What I do, it's all about me. It's my world, and I'm doing my thing, and this is how I see things. This is how I see the world. This is my reality, and I'm putting it on here because I want to, and that's it. It has nothing to do with anything else. So I'm coming at it from a completely selfish and I-centered place. And
I wouldn't say it's
I'm fine.
selfish. Not selfish. Because here's the thing, you're still sharing.
I mean, self-centered. I mean, it's
Okay,
about
and
me.
right. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that too. You know what I mean? I always say, if it's not about me, I'm not interested. Says the person who's interested in, right? That's like my underlying
Well, yeah,
mantra.
I mean, I just feel like I'm not here to make any changes in the world. I am just
Okay.
doing my thing, being who I am, and if that happens to have a trickle effect, which everything does, we can get in. That's a whole philosophy thing. That's another 2-hour conversation. But if I happen to have that trickle effect that helps somebody or somebody's interested in, then great. That's fabulous. But that's not my goal.
So over the past few weeks, I've been thinking about like, okay, so why did I start this YouTube channel? And I'm going to have the person on who got me started. I'm going to have her. I don't even know why I haven't had her on yet, but I entered a community that there were so few of me. That's why I started a YouTube channel. And there's still so few of me, a few years down the line. But I entered a community where I felt I also had something to say about the same thing that everybody else was talking about, just from my perspective, my experience, and my point of view. Okay. Because I think that also that understanding of us, quote unquote, getting along, it works both ways as well, right? So some people might call it emotional labor or telling you da 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 da. It isn't. But if you don't know, you don't know, right? You don't know. So how is it that I can sit here with some information and some knowledge and not share it? What you do with that information, that's up to you. So you see, it works both ways.
Yeah.
So I can't. I don't
same thing from 2 different angles, really.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Yes, I'm thinking about the world at large, but I guess like you, I do it from a selfish point of view too, because I think, okay, you know what? I would like someone like me to be putting out what I'm putting out. And since I don't see someone like me putting out what I'm putting out, then I might as well put it out there. And whoever gets it, grabs it, great.
Exactly.
You see? And maybe that's why I've never been hitched up on subscriber numbers or all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, none of that matters to me.
You have to excuse my dog whining in the background.
Oh, wants to go out?
No, he wants me to fuss him. He just wants me to. Can you see?
Yeah. Wow. Oh boy. Poor baby.
Oh. So do you think that you create videos then with the whole of the tarot community or the sewing community or the witchcraft community in mind? Is that part of your thinking whenever you create a video?
Yeah.
It is.
Because I want it to be valuable content. I want it to be valuable, right?
Yeah.
My ego is not attached to what I put out. My ego or my feelings. That is probably the reason why I don't edit. Like, I hit that record button and what you see is what you get. Poor lighting, all of that stuff. That's how I am in the moment. And here's the thing.
Sorry. That's why so many people tell you time and time again how giving you are. Because I think when I create content, I always think, is this of any value? Is this just me spouting on about me? And I do always have a mind for wanting to bring value to people watching. But I think you always take it, you always seem to have that so in your focus. And I think people pick up on that. That's why I've heard loads of people say to you, oh, you're totally giving. And I've heard you say so many times, like, if I've got it, you've got it. And that's such a rare way of thinking. It shouldn't be, but it is. And it is. It just is. And that might be why you feel like you're always on warrior mode.
Yeah.
Because it is rare. What do you think, Ren? Do you think that's...
I think our set is everything.
Yeah, it's really unusual for somebody to have community and like the general impact for everybody and everybody's well-being at their core. And I think it's at your core, which is why you do all of this, and you're trying to bring this into the community, and it's really appreciated. It's needed. It's like water on dry ground is what it feels like, but it's rare. Because I'm sat listening thinking, gosh, I do have an eye for value bought, but not like when you talk about it, it's something totally different. And it makes me want to do better all the time.
So so remember when Y was on and I said, don't preface your greatest accomplishment. That's probably the first thing that we have to do as human beings. Stop prefacing our existence. Stop thinking, oh, is this of value? I hope it's valuable. I hope other people stop. You are valuable. You're upright and you're breathing. You serve a purpose. We are interconnected for a reason. Right? And as Courtney likes to say, everything's energy. And at some point, we're all going to dissipate. But energy also feeds off of energy. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why I don't believe in positive or negative energy. Energy is just energy. It's what we do with it that matters. Mm-hmm. So if you go in and you start to think like, that's probably the one thing I never thought like, oh, I hope people like this. I hope this is valuable. It was valuable to me, and that's all that mattered.
Oh my God, I love you so much. You literally pick the crane up and you ram it on my head and you yell, wear it, and stop apologizing. And I love it. I love that. You've done that to me so many times.
I have to say that I did not feel seen, again, quotes, seen until you and Giselle contacted me different occasions and said, hey, talk to me. I mean, I didn't in this social, community, what have you, virtual community, I didn't feel seen until each of you contacted me and said, hey, let's talk. It was wonderful. First time I think ever that's ever happened to me.
Really?
Just as a person, just as a person. I've always been that outsider, that one that's not seen, that's one that's over there somewhere, the weirdo in the corner. I've always been the odd duck, and it's lovely, and I really appreciate it.
Okay, so I know what it's like to be unseen. I know it. And that's why I do everything I can to peel back the blinders. I know what it's like. And so anyone that I can reach out to, like, why aren't you stepping up? Why aren't you wearing your crown? Why aren't you opening your mouth? Why aren't you interacting? Why aren't you doing you? Everyone has something valuable to bring to the table. Everyone.
Mm. And I agree. But you just, the fact that you bring that to people and you make them see that, it's incredible. I hope you've realised how incredible that is, because we both now said to you, you made us feel seen. You know, people.
Superpower.
Yeah, it is a superpower, and I don't think you recognise your own superpowers, because for you it's normal.
Yeah.
Mm. You're a gift, Queen of Set.
No, I'm
Yes,
not.
you bet you are.
I'm an
Yeah, she's
ordinary human being. I'm an ordinary human being who likes to have a good time, and I like to have people happy around. Like, seriously, that is, I'm striving for that,
Mm.
right? And I know it's not going to happen in my lifetime, but I would love to just be lolling about and just be happy and relaxed, and you know what I mean, without the tension. Like, okay, you got a gazillion decks and I have half a gazillion decks. Oh my gosh, let's celebrate each other. You know what I mean?
But
I wear
you can.
monster shoes, you
That's
wear
so important.
mismatched socks. Oh my gosh, let's celebrate each other.
That's it. That's what it
She's
is. We
judging
have to
me. She's
celebrate.
judging me
We
about
have
the
to. It's
song.
not about. It's about celebrating differences. It's about
Mm.
celebrating each other. It's about appreciating differences. It's about appreciating each other. In my
And
brain,
yeah,
that's what it's about.
and we can still do this. You can still be lounging around in your monster slippers and take the compliment that I just gave you. You
Yeah.
rejected my compliment for being a gift,
Yeah,
and
she
I'm
really
not
did.
going to let you reject that compliment, because I
That's
wasn't
not
saying you have
unacceptable.
to be a warrior to accept the gift,
Yeah.
the compliment. You are a gift, and
You should
you
probably
can
just
do
say
that
thank you.
lounging.
And where's your crown, Offset?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so that comes. So a few months ago, someone had told me that they were told that I was arrogant and full of myself.
Isn't that the same
And
thing?
I'm like, yeah, I am.
So what?
And so what?
Yeah, so what?
Right? But to get to that level, to own that, do you know what a person has to go through
Mm.
and be willing to
Life.
deal with to get to that? Yeah.
Life.
So that's why I say I know what it's like to be unseen. I know what it's like to be disregarded. I know what it's like to be torn down at every turn, dissuaded at every turn, pushed aside, ignored, overlooked, no matter what.
Yep.
I know exactly. That's right, Lennon. Who else is supposed to be full of me but me? If I'm not full of myself,
You go, Lennon.
right? She put it in caps too. Oh, okay.
Go, girl.
Oh, Jezebel Von Tex, go ahead, feed your kitties. No, don't. Okay. Yeah, don't let them fade away. But it's that's why I want to have these conversations, right? And it's ironic that we're having these conversations. These are conversations that you would have in someone's living room, sitting around, you're just talking, and then you put on
I
your
so
YouTube
want to be in your
persona.
living room, Offset. Invite me
You don't want
over.
to be in my living room. It,
I want to go through that fabric stash.
it's filled with plants and
Feel
fabric
everything.
and everything. A lot of
Sounds like
woo-woo
heaven.
stuff. Like, it's
Randy,
just,
you and
I'm
me,
serious.
let's go. You and me,
Yeah.
let's go.
Absolutely.
I just,
We're coming, Offset.
are you? Okay. I need to take a road
Make
trip.
a path.
I do.
Make a path.
I'm striving for something better. I'm striving. Someone had to be the first. Someone had to be the first to fly that plane. Someone had to be the first to leave their village. Someone had to be the first. And I think that's like the scariest thing. So, I didn't answer my greatest accomplishment. Every time I do something like this is an accomplishment for me. When I can bring people together from different parts of the world, that's an accomplishment for me. Just to chit chat, hang out a little bit. That's an accomplishment for me.
Yeah, that question wasn't qualified by up to date, up to now, up to this point.
No.
It was open-ended. So really you
It
could
was.
say
My greatest
accomplishment hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I couldn't, you know what I mean? My greatest accomplishment, like when I did that summit, put together that summit in September.
Oh, that was fabulous.
Yeah, it was.
That I jumped in scared. I jumped in. So I read something. Instead of taking a leap of faith, which almost sounds like a finality, we should take a walk into faith. Walk. And when you get tired, it's okay. You take a break. You stop. As opposed to taking that leap of faith. Gives you a whole different perspective on that Fool card, right? Doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, I always see the Fool card as curiosity. To me, the Fool card is always curiosity. You have to, in order to do anything, you have to have that spark of curiosity. What if I can make a difference? What if this counts? What if I get everybody together and we talk about the issues that are happening in the world today? What would happen? Have that little bit of curiosity. Right. So I always see the Fool as somebody who has that sense of curiosity.
And the step off the cliff always takes you out of your comfort zone as well.
Absolutely.
It's very tempting to sit in your comfort zone.
It is. And be
I'm
afraid.
A huge fan of my comfort zone. Big fan of my comfort zone.
Oh, it's lovely.
Okay. See, well, come on now. I get bored with the so-called comfort zone. I'm one of those people that I always have to shake shit up. That was my mother's biggest complaint. Yeah. She's like, you just can't be peaceful. Like you're always doing something. You're always
and then you wonder why you don't give yourself a break.
I don't like stagnation
because you get bored with taking a break.
I do. I get bored with taking a break.
Yeah. So you want to take a break. On the one hand, you say, "Oh, I want to take a break. I don't want to be a warrior all the time." And then on the other hand, you say, "Yeah, but then I get bored with that."
I know. I guess maybe what I like is I like the fight of life, like those old kings. Those kings back in the day where they're just like, I'm tired of fighting, and then they get ready to go to war, and like they just feel reinvigorated, even though they're old and all of that. It's just something about like every day is an opportunity. So yeah, on one hand, I'm like, okay, I like to just sit back. And I did. I did. I didn't do any recordings or anything, like I said, because I just didn't want to,
Use the world in other ways. Okay.
What?
You just changed the world in other ways.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
But this kind of stuff brings me. Okay, you see, Lennon talks about this whole shadow. Okay, we're not going to go into that conversation because that's part of who you are. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being lazy. Even animals take a breather. My cats look at me like, "Bitch, can't you just lay down for a minute? Like seriously, can't you just sit still so I can crawl up into your lap?" And the kid gives me this look like, "What are you doing? Sit still so I can get into the lap, right?"
I'd love to sit more in my comfort zone. What's she saying?
Yeah, breaks should not be roped in shadow. They should not be. They're supposed to be built in. You're supposed to take a break.
Until you get bored and then get up and change the world again.
Exactly. But they're not. So I understand. Okay, so my upbringing, there's a saying. I've heard it in the shop. If you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Heard that before?
No.
If you so in the shop, if you're standing around doing nothing,
in the shop,
you have time. Yeah, you have time to clean.
Right.
Okay. But I also grew up with my mother saying this to me, to my brothers. I cannot stand to see people standing around with their hands in their pockets. It means you're not doing anything. So I grew up with the premise that I should always be doing something. Right? Even if it was just reading a book. You know how many I read the Encyclopedia Britannica many times in my lifetime for that reason. The whole premise of just relaxing, sleeping in, laying in, that's foreign to me. It is. It's foreign to me.
So you can finish those books that you started, right?
I have a lot of books. I have a lot of
The
books.
tarot book series that you've been reading?
Yes, I need to finish that. Yes. I've gone down the rabbit hole of studying color and fabric in world history. The color red has a history all its own. The color blue was not a favorable color by the Greeks. There are things that I learned. I'm reading a book on pockets and how they used to be tied on. Women used to carry like they belonged, everything, just so much more. Now, how's this tie into tarot? I don't know. The tarot is supposed to be a tool of empowerment. Everything's connected. Everything. Everything.
Well, colour and the tarot for a start.
Yeah.
And, just the creativity of all that fabric as well around you. I think you should do the stories of your cloth tarot deck.
I am not going to create a tarot deck.
Oh, go on.
You will probably you create one. Every month you create art. You and Lennon, you guys need to get together and create a deck. You should. You and Lennon, every month you guys do, you, Lennon, and Renee. You have this artwork thing going on.
I do. I'm working on a couple of decks. So very early stages though. So
yeah. I do not. There's some things that I will not do. And I can say this. I will not create a deck because it would not be 78 cards. There's too much. I would expand on too much. It would be too much. I will not sew a pair of jeans, and I'm not going to sew smalls. Those are things that I will not do. You know what I mean when I say smalls?
Pink jumpsuit.
I know. I think it's going to be a two-piece.
Oh, it's going to be superb.
Like that pink snakeskin, like that.
Wow. I love that.
And this is Ankara. This is African wax. And even all of these have a story, right? So this print, even this print has a story, has a name. But I have a YouTuber who watches me who has a sewing channel. She used to be into tarot. She still is, but she's more on the sewing side. It was advised for her to be on that side. And last month was Black History Month. And so they did Black History Month pattern designers, and you were to sew something created by, a Black pattern designer, fashion designer. And she's Latino. She wanted to, she always had an interest in using Ankara, African fabric. And I talked to her about, it's not appropriation, it's appreciation. It's just fabric. As long as you don't use the fabric to make ritualistic garb, we don't have a problem with it. But what was important was I knew why I sent her a particular piece of fabric, because it had a particular meaning. And I wanted to see if she was actually going to delve into the meaning. And she did. She learned about the meaning and the history of the symbology on that outfit, on the fabric, and made a beautiful top from that. Yeah.
I watched her video.
Oh, did you, Mari?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
You watched it? Yeah.
Yeah.
She did
It
that.
was beautiful.
I know. So, and just from doing that, so she did what many people have not done. They just look at the fabric and think, oh, it's just that. But everything tells a story. And I think that's what's important to me. It's like with tarot. The tarot's a storybook for me. It tells a story. You know, it's a book with 78 cards. Each card tells a story. The same with fabric. And that's one of the things that I guess I went down this rabbit hole with, learning about color and the meanings of the colors, even the meanings, you know, of the colors that were used in the Visconti, the first tarot deck, I guess you could say, that was put together, the colors in Marseille, like the different woodcuts and such like that. The times of, I guess, the season or the year, whatever, like what colors were available to use, why this particular color was used, what was available, what was going on around the world at the time. You know, just like in the United States, we have red and blue, right? Color plays a big factor into what we do, and we don't even pay enough attention to that. And yes, Kelly, pockets are power. Like I was just, I paid a lot for this book. But then to learn about pockets and how it was like a woman's form of independence, you know, and sometimes the pockets would fall off and we found, and it would have this in it and that in it and blah, 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 and all of that, you know. It's just, it was just a fantastic thing to learn about that part of the history that makes it up. Yeah.
When you watch those shows, Say Yes to the Dress, where they go and they choose a wedding dress, and all the men are gobsmacked that the women want wedding dresses with pockets. And they always come out and they go, it's got pockets. And I don't think there's a woman alive that doesn't get that, the excitement of finding a wedding dress with pockets in.
Pockets, you know what I mean. So just imagine what is it. You know, it makes me think of in the Marseille deck, the image of the papess, I want to say. She's sitting there, you know, she's got all that garb underneath her. Like, what does she have beneath that? Like, for me, that adds another layer to the meaning of that card. Same with the Empress, right? Like, beneath her garb, the meanings of the colors and such. So this is just me going on a different tangent as far as tarot is concerned.
I love that you look at cards and see the fashion and the makeup of the outfit, and you wonder what the layers of the outfit are. I know that you sent me that link for, was it Chanel? Or that did the, was it Chanel? Or
Christian Dior.
Dior, that did the fashion, all the fashion based on the tarot. That was amazing. I loved it. Fashion and tarot.
And see, that's another thing too. You know, tarot has been more mainstream than we realize and recognize. Okay, no matter how many people say, "Oh no," you know, turn, blah 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 blah. It has integrated itself into modern society more than we realize.
But what's so wonderful is that each reader can bring his or her own experiences to it. You see tarot in fashion, you see fashion in tarot. Somebody else sees something else in it. I mean, every reader reads differently because every reader brings their own experiences to it.
Right.
So that's what makes it's universal, and it is a unifying tool. I mean, it's a tool, sure, for learning about yourself or however people use it, but it's also a unifying tool because even though we each come at it from from unique perspectives, it's all the tool that we all of us in this community use.
Exactly.
And we get excited, and we can get excited about it. You can get excited about it because you see fabrics and patterns and colors and all of that in it. And I can get excited about it because I see numbers and patterns and forms and whatnot in it. And Candy, just because she's wonderful, can see wonderfulness in it.
I know, right? I know.
But we can all get excited about it, and yet we could all be looking at the same deck.
Right. Right. Exactly. And see the experience, you know what I mean? And enjoy the experience through each other's eyes as well, you know?
And we should do that in life with everything.
Exactly.
That would be it.
Exactly.
That's
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what you're
Thank
talking
you.
about. This is
Right.
what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Most
And I'm
definitely.
also from New York. So this is what we're talking about.
You're from where? New York?
New York. Yeah.
What
Long
part of New
Island.
York? Long Island?
Basically,
Oh,
Long Island. Yeah.
Long Island? Okay.
Long,
Yeah, I'm from
Long
Queens.
Island. Well,
I know.
Queens is Long Island. You know, same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
See? Oh. Yes. Yes. Bye, Lennon.
Bye, Lennon.
Diva Nation, do you say that? You tell your kids that they have time to lean, they have time to clean. You see? That's what I'm saying. I know. Yeah.
I'm such a fan of leaning though, because my life doesn't allow me to lean, especially tomorrow, getting no sleep. So I chase leaning. So I don't like that phrase. I'm just
basically lazy, so leaning I am. So. I'm all about leaning.
I'm a massive fan of leaning.
Got
if you get a chance to lean, take
Lots
it.
Of practice.
Essence 818. I am from, Springfield Gardens area. That's where I'm from. That part of Queens. But Candy, I have watched your evolution. Like you've emerged from your chrysalis. You're more open. I don't know if anyone else, I'm sure others. You've emerged from your chrysalis. I'm still watching the wings unfurl. But you're no longer in that cocoon, if that makes any sense. And it's kind of like you're enjoying the process of slowly. Yeah. Right?
Adventurous.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I have to say I am loving it.
Yeah. So. All right, ladies, it is 4:30. I didn't think we were going to be on for 2.5 hours.
I know.
But I have so much enjoyed this, and I really appreciate you guys coming. I think I'm going to have to do like a reunion. This is number 4. I don't know what I was thinking when I did this. I don't know what I was thinking. That's just it. That's my premise. That's what I do. If you watch what James Feeney has said, he mentioned certain people. Right? Okay.
Right?
Every time I watch him, like I said, that's an otherworldly human being. I mentioned it to him when he was on the last talk, like, who are you? Because you're not of this place. You're not of this time. There's such a beauty to that human being. You know what I mean? A wise. He's like, are you an old man?
He's truly ageless. He's true. You can't age him at all. He's truly ageless.
I know. And he's so full of knowledge. Like he has so much knowledge and information to share, and he did that whole breakdown of who is who in his community for the court cards and such. And he put me in as the Knight of Swords in the Thoth, which I guess is the King of Swords. Translated over. Never thought of myself. Never thought of myself. That's the King of Swords. But I just go in. I have an idea. That's what it is. I have no concept of failure.
That's fantastic.
I have no concept of something not working.
How? Can you send me some?
How could it fail?
Everything
how
happens
anything
because
fail?
it should, the way it should, because it does the way it does.
Yeah.
There's philosophy for you.
Right?
Things happen exactly the way
Sophie's
they should
world.
because they do.
See, my fearful
Sophie's
mind just went, well, if you
Sophie's
can't
world.
think of ways something will fail, I can give you a list.
A long time ago, but yes, Sophie's world.
But you're not your past.
Oh,
and those
gosh, that makes you
experiences. you're not, you've already done that. Okay, so
We
the
don't have to
past,
like it, Things happen
yeah,
because it's the way they're supposed to happen. We don't have to like it. It
like,
doesn't mean that it's good. It doesn't mean that it's happy. It just means that it is, and it's supposed to be because it does.
Mm.
you
I'm
know,
soaking this up.
Stoic, Stoic
because
philosophy.
your concept of failure is someone else's win or success. Like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean
Right?
failure? I mean, if you say failure, it's just something to learn, right? We all said that we
Yeah,
had these things that happened to us, and that was our biggest lesson. Our biggest
right,
lessons stemmed from our quotes failure.
Mm.
right. And you lived, you survived, and you're thriving because of that, or in spite of that, right? And had you not gone through those things, see, this is the where my faith comes in. Ifa with us, we do believe in you're born with a destiny. We do believe that. You get periodic readings to make sure that you are still in alignment with fulfilling your destiny.
Mm.
You don't know what your destiny is, meaning that it's laid out for you. You do have free will. You make those choices, but you just want to make sure. That's why you get we go to Babalawo and have our readings. Am I still in alignment? Like, what do I need to do to clean up this energy that's inappropriate for me that I'm not working with? That's why, right? And that's the whole premise for me for using the tarot to just for the most. Am I in the right alignment? Am I in the right space? Okay. Um, because I do believe that whatever is out there, white rabbit, great pumpkin, whatever, wants us to succeed. I just think that most times, we tend to get off track. We become distracted by a lot of other things. We're fragmented all over the place.
Yeah.
So if everyone pulls their fragments back, you can get into doing what you're supposed to be, what you're meant to do. And it's not about figuring out like, oh, am I fulfilling my purpose? Am I supposed to be doing this? People ask me that all the time. I want to know what my purpose is. I want to know if I'm on the right path. When they ask me that, I ask them, what does the wrong path look like? Right? Because you're so sure to have an absolute of the right path, then you must know what the wrong path looks like.
Mm.
What is
It's
your
often
purpose?
it's often easier to be able to answer that, isn't it? What's the wrong path for me, than to
Yeah. Right? The wrong path, that would be the question for you to think within yourself, right? Same thing like, am I fulfilling my purpose? Well, yeah. As a Yoruba woman who was also Hebrew, I remember my rabbi saying, really, just be kind to others. That's all you have to do. The rest is just commentary. I'll never forget my rabbi for saying that. Just be kind to another human being. The rest
Well,
is
isn't
just
that what the Dalai
commentary.
Lama says? The Dalai Lama says that his religion is kindness.
Yeah. But that kindness we know has to start with ourselves too. We have to stop looking for it outside and feel like, okay, if I don't get it from outside, that I'm not worthy of it. I can't possibly be kind to myself because, the world doesn't like me or the world is not going to be kind to me. Those just aren't your people. Like everybody doesn't like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, okra, right? It's the same thing.
Fried okra, though, really good. Pickled okra.
Okay, really?
I'm not even kidding you.
I've
You
never
don't know.
eaten okra.
You
Ever.
don't know. I said you don't know. You don't know what's good.
Okay, then I'm coming to your place for food.
All right. All right.
Okay, all right. That's a date. That's good. That'll probably be the one time that I'll eat this week. So
Come on.
yeah. So yeah. This has been an interesting talk for the full moon in Libra. Libra ruled by Venus. Venus is all about the love, right? What
Thank
also gives me pleasure, what also makes this worth it for me, um, I think it was like the first or second one, the first one that I did. Someone reached out to me privately and told me that talk helped them make a decision that they needed for self care for them. That talk, something
Brilliant.
that we said in that talk. The second or third one, someone had mentioned to me. Oh, the last one. Um, I talked about the word love and how it felt, or something like that. And this person said, "I understand it now." Like, and she said to me, "I am not so easily triggered by some other things." Something to do, it was broader than that. But people listen. People listen to what we have to
Have we
say
said
here.
anything
People
profound
tune in.
this time? Have we
Huh?
have we said profound stuff this time in this conversation? What good
Yeah.
what we did? What good stuff have we said?
And that's not the point. It's not for us. Because I was thinking, that we're just chit chatting and blah, 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 and all of that,
We're just talking here.
Yeah. But other people who are listening to this, right? You know why? Because there's no FOMO involved.
Come here.
There's no feeling of, well, I don't have that. How am I going to get that? Or, you know what? I don't know. That's what I'm feeling, right? There's
Well,
none of
that
that.
FOMO thing with decks too. I mean, that's a double-edged sword too, because on the one
Yeah.
hand, it's great. You can see all these decks that, back in the day, I would buy a deck and open it and say,
I know.
and get rid of it and go to the next one. So nowadays, it's so great to be able to see all of these fabulous decks and what people are creating, and people are creating more because they have an audience now that they can reach and all this kind of thing. And then, there's actually different people making different types of decks, which is wonderful. All of this great stuff. And then, you've got this whole thing where you feel like it's one big infomercial where
It is.
it's just
I
one big infomercial.
I know.
So
I'll be right back.
on the
I
one
have a
hand,
lot
it's
of
great.
decks.
On the other hand,
I have a lot of decks, but if you remember, I think it was phase 2 when I talked about having to sell patterns before I can buy a deck. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So I opened up an Etsy shop. I did. And it was the same person, Mari.
You've done videos
Contacted
with
me.
her, right? When the two of you have
No,
collabed
no,
on videos before. Who is it?
no,
Okay. Never mind.
no.
I'm thinking of someone else. Never mind.
Yeah. Mari contacted me privately. She says, "You have patterns?" And I said, "Yeah." I have a Facebook page that nothing was happening. I tried to sell patterns through this other website on Facebook, well, all of that stuff. And she said, "Show me what you have." And she was my first sale. She bought a bunch of patterns. And she said, "Well, when I do my video, I'm going to mention your shop." And I was like, "Oh shit, I got to get this shop open. Like, I got to put product up." So she's the one that lit the fire from under my ass. And I sold enough patterns, more than enough, to buy myself Ethony's Modern Love deck. It had been on my list. Yeah. That's what I did.
Great.
I bought that deck.
Great.
See? Yeah. And because I work in the shop now, I have access to the other mass market deck. So, yeah.
Right. But yeah, so that's the thing. So it's just it's kind of the same idea of social media, meeting people, and yet you have to make that extra.
Yeah, you have to make that extra effort. Exactly.
We had the decks and everything. Well, that's great, and it's valuable. These unboxings and seeing what they are is valuable because then people can make an informed decision. But at the same time, they feel like, oh, this is what people are getting, and they feel the pressure and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to really be careful and monitor yourself. What do you really want in a deck?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a lot. I mean, I just got I don't know if you've heard of like Matlock the Hair. No? Okay, yeah. So
No.
yeah, Matlock the Hair. I've gone down that rabbit hole.
That's not is that the white haired wisdom oracle? Yeah, I have
the
that.
white hair deck, and I got the other deck, and then I just got the Coven of Witches like playing card tarot deck. I back yeah, I back that. So there are a couple of things that took me down the rabbit hole, but I'm trying to really work hard at pulling some of that energy back, controlling myself in that regard.
I got rid
Making
of
it
a bunch of decks, and I have not seen any that I want to buy.
to buy.
So
And I have gotten
I've got like 15 decks now, maybe. And
a lot more.
let's see.
What
I think
in
I have maybe,
total?
I think I maybe have 15 that I use. Maybe I
I'm
have
like
20.
20.
I don't
That's
have
it.
Same
Mhm,
total.
total, and I don't
Right.
use most of them. And I use them seasonally, so I'll just use, you know,
One or two.
one or two. Yeah. I
Well,
have 1, 2, 3, and I don't really use Oracle. I have the Angels and Ancestors one that I used
yeah.
before. I love that one. I have maybe 2 or 3 Oracle, but I hardly ever use Oracle.
Do you use more than one deck at a time? Do
I
you
used
pair
to,
decks?
I used to, but I don't now. I pretty much just use one deck, and I do 3 card readings, maybe a 5 card. I have a 5 card spread that my go-to spread is a 5 card spread.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise I do open readings, 3 card open readings.
Yeah.
And I have like I said, I have a couple of seasonal decks, and then I have 3 decks that I incorporated based on mythology. That's a long story, but I've got 3 decks that I use on certain days.
Mm.
And it boils down to, after all of this, buying lots of decks and getting rid of decks and buying more decks, years and years of buying decks and getting rid of decks, blah, 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 blah. Right now it's boiled down to maybe 20 decks total, and I use 12, maybe 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I packed away most
I'm
of my
just going to put
collection.
my dog out. Just bear with me a
Sure,
second. I'm just going to go because
sure.
he's crying.
I packed away most of most of the decks I had, and I have like 3 tubs, but then I have bookshelves filled with decks as well. Like I just wanted to. It's too much. Like I have a lot, I do, and so my tastes are becoming refined.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I'm looking for in a deck. There are a
Which is
couple of
something
decks.
we couldn't do before, Osset, because
No,
there wasn't enough out there to be able to go through the process to narrow it down and say, okay, these are really the ones,
yeah,
because
yeah,
there wasn't enough information out there. There weren't enough decks
mm-hmm,
out
mm-hmm. The mass market decks, as I said, I have access to those because of the shop.
there.
Because I was thinking about that too. But I have more than enough decks. I could do a deck walkthrough twice a month and still not go through the decks that I have, And you know how I like to do walkthroughs. I like to give, hello, Julianne, Victoria. You're welcome, Coco Faves. I'm saying, my Lux Crown. Who are you? And Laura. She talked about making okra as well. And yes, Essence 818, 818. Yes, I know. Jamaica Queens, familiar with it. As a matter of fact, do you remember where Gertz was on Jamaica Avenue?
Gertz Shopping Center. Yes, I know.
Yes. Oh my
was.
gosh.
Yeah.
I know. Right.
My
talk
best
about
friend of 30 years moved from Jamaica to Jamaica.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So yeah, she's from Jamaica, and then she moved
to Jamaica. Yes.
And I met her
I get it.
back in 31 years ago. 31 years ago, and we've been friends she's like my best friend for 31 years. But I always tease her because you didn't go very far.
That's kind of like what we did. We're Jamaican. We moved to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
See?
All these parallels, I don't
know. I think my parents might have had a feeling when they heard the name Jamaica. They must have thought like, oh, this might be like little Jamaica. We're moving not too far. Yeah, it's not the same at all. No. Not at all. Okay. But Gertz, yes, right. So when I was talking about my sewing back in the day, see, some things are coming back around, kind of like with tarot, like how people are falling back in love with the old style decks and such like that. TDM and all of that was the same thing in sewing, bespoke tailoring and hand sewing and such. And I remember going to Gertz, and they would have the little drawers that you would pull out and choose your buttons. And then if I wanted to have a matching belt made, I would drop that off and have the belt made to match my outfits. So there is still a company that does that now, but we're talking $40, $50, $60 to have the belt made.
Oof.
Didn't Gertz
Yeah.
have all those patterns? Like you would go into Gertz and you can get all of those patterns. Like
Yeah,
when you were saying that,
absolutely.
that's the first thing that come to my mind was that there was like they had these like this whole section where you could just
Listen,
get patterns
patterns.
and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's those kind of things that I feel are like coming back around, and feeling this energy across the board. People are trying to reconnect to cottage core. Seems to be a big thing now. Cottage core, right? Meaning kind of like probably like what Candy has, how she's living.
Mhm.
Uh, Closer to nature, you know what I mean? Having your gardens around you. There's a sewist that I love to watch, Dahlia, of the Dahlia Sew Society. She's in
Mhm.
Australia. Her garden is gorgeous. I mean,
Can you be
her
a cottage
garden,
witch and kill everything that grows?
yeah.
I consider myself a cottage witch. I can't grow
See,
anything.
you don't grow anything.
I can't. Well, I live in a condo now, but given the
Yeah.
opportunity, I will kill any plant within my reach.
Oh,
Doesn't
okay.
stand a chance.
So maybe plants aren't for you, darling. That's
But I
okay.
mean, it's about home. It's about making your
Yes.
home a special place. It's about work. It's about working from that. Um, I want to say center, but that home base. Your focus is on your home,
Yeah.
however it is, whatever it is, wherever it is.
Yeah.
And I think,
Yeah.
yeah, people are coming back to that. They're not going out, out, out all the time. It's more like, okay, let's bring it in. Let's bring it back to, what's.
Making your home really a home, especially with
Mhm.
the global situation that we are in, like really just wanting it to be at that place of the true meaning of home, to appreciate your home, right? As opposed to
Mhm.
just a place where you work all day outside and then come home and just lay
Mhm.
down and then get back out there and start again. You don't even know what you have in your home, how to function in your home, um, you know, waiting on doing house repairs or whatever it is at the weekends. And no, now it's your home is supposed to be integrated. It's supposed to be your sanctuary when you get off of work, right? It's supposed to be your place of respite and all of that. So yeah. And so sewing has been the mental break for a lot. Sewing and painting, crocheting, knitting, embroidery, like these old tatting, something called tatting, these old school, old world things are coming back. And they have really helped many of us who are dealing, have dealt with like mental distress. It's a place of calm, it's a place of breathe, a place to breathe. And that's why I said there are no mistakes, because even, in my sewing world, people show uh, what they've made for the week. And, everybody, that's the whole joy of it, right? Messing up, doing something
How else are you going
that
to
you always be
learn?
taught, right?
Mhm.
And that's another thing many of us are working through too. So we have an acronym called SABLE, which is Stash Accumulated Beyond Life Expectancy. So I've been collecting fabric since 1981.
I hear you.
I will die and leave fabric. Lots of it. I know it,
That's
but I
great.
love it. I love it
Yeah,
anyway.
That's your
absolutely.
passion. That's your, yeah.
It is. It is. Okay. I will die and leave tarot decks. The other day, I had a conversation with my son's girlfriend, and I made her promise me that she would catalog the decks. Like, don't just get rid of them. Go through, catalog. She's ready to start that project now because there's a lot of decks,
It's going to take
right?
some time, huh?
Exactly, right? I have everything that Doreen Virtue put out from back in the day, right?
Yeah, some of these decks, they're an investment.
They are. They are. I have yet to open my Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh. I haven't opened it.
Why have you not opened it?
It's an investment.
It's an investment, but the thrill is gone, Candy. It's like going out on that date with the high expectations and then to find out that the person that you're talking to, like they're working with a little starter set or something, you know. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
yeah. Right? You have high hopes, you know? Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful deck. It's not a deck, even from watching the process and seeing what the images were, it's not a deck that I could work with. But I think it's a beautiful deck.
It is. It just, for everything that it went through, that's why I call it the Hope Diamond of decks.
You go through a
I do.
lot.
For everything that it went through, it's almost like it really should just stay in its shrink wrap. It really should just stay in its box, you know? And someone's selling it for crazy money. I told Sterling, if we do an auction, I'll do it that way and donate the money to animal shelter or homeless shelter or something like that. That's what I would do, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have my son's girlfriend put together, catalog these decks. I'm jaded, you know. I'm full. Same thing with my books. You know, I love books, but it's time. I just feel like, and it's not like I want to be minimal. I'm not a minimalist by any. I'm just not
You're not feeling it.
thrilled. No, I'm not. I'm not. The joy and the pleasure that I have when I acquire them, and that's part of the FOMO as well. You know, the joy of getting it, and it's when it arrives, and then it's like, oh, okay,
Whatever dopamine, what have you. Yeah, you get that hit, and it's like, ooh, and then it's gone.
exactly. It's like, okay, you know.
Well, I've only been buying decks for a year, and I've been on a 3 months into depth year now, and it just feels like a dam. Depth year feels like a straining dam holding back everything that
Really?
everything that I still want. But for the first 2 months, it just felt such a chance to breathe and some clear space around me and nothing coming in. But then I got a chance to get an oracle deck, an indie oracle deck that was no longer available in the UK, and I thought I'd deleted all of my alerts on eBay. It came up, and I thought, well, I'll never get a chance again probably to get it, so I put minimum bid on and just left it, and I won it. And oh my goodness, it's like I've nicked the door open a little bit, and then all of this water is rushing in. It's just made me want to buy again. It's crazy. And now I feel like depth here is like literally a straining dam. But up until buying that one oracle, which I justified because it was just such a unusual opportunity to get this oracle at a really cheap price. Until I bought that, I was really loving it. I was loving just no decks coming in, no acquisition.
What deck is on your wish list?
That I still haven't got. What I
Right.
haven't got
I think
yet.
she's asking what decks do you wish for that you don't have? Yeah.
Yeah.
This year I feel really called to green decks and going back to my Celtic heritage. So things like the Druid craft.
You don't have that?
No. Or and what's the
Okay.
other one? What's the other one? The not the Wildwood. Is it the Wildwood?
Is it the Wildwood?
Yeah, because I'm
There is the
thinking of the
Wildwood.
Greenwood.
Okay.
The Greenwood,
People
the
put in the
one.
same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, this is okay. So you know we have this thing that closed mouths don't get fed, right? So
Yeah.
I have
children calling me.
I have 2
Hang on,
or
ladies.
3.
Hang on.
Sure. I got a couple copies of the Druid Craft.
I've got children in here. Hang on.
That's okay.
Let me just meet you.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Nothing. She's speaking with the children. So I have oh, is that what she said, Dee? That is that
Sorry.
we're talking about Avalon has more decks, the Bone Stone? I don't know if she has any.
No, yeah, I think
She
she
does
announced
some.
that she was sending some more
She has
out.
some? Oh,
Yeah, and yeah.
okay. So Candy, I have your address. I will send you the Druidcraft and the Wildwood.
You don't have to do that.
That was sneaky.
I'm trying to move stuff out. I'm trying to move stuff along.
We did not see
Oh,
that
I'd
coming.
love that.
I mean,
Just the two decks that are right at the top.
okay.
Because I grew up on the Welsh borders, and
Do you have the Llewellyn deck, Candy?
no,
You
Oh,
don't have the
then,
Llewellyn deck?
you don't?
That's
Okay,
a
I'll throw
Welsh
that.
deck.
I'll throw that in the box too.
Let's get on that.
oh,
I
the
mean-
dam has just eased off a bit. That brick.
Yeah,
was
see
threatening to
that's what I'm
fall out.
saying. It's like you'd be surprised. That's the whole thing about the community, right? Like I'm trying to move decks along. I'm not even. You know which deck I do have, and I wish Giselle was here. And I mean, I would love to. I guess I would love to sell it, but maybe I won't. Maybe I won't sell it. I can't sell it. The Legend Arthurian deck, the out of print deck.
Oh yes,
Oh.
yeah. Mm. All of those kind of decks are calling to me.
I got the guidebook and such. That's an out of print deck, but I definitely can send you. Let me write this down. Druidcraft.
This is the oracle that I
Oh,
jumped
the
at.
iris. Mm-hmm.
But it came to me. It was in used condition, and it should put on there that it was in used condition. So when it came, it was all battered around the edges. So it's the
Yeah.
first ever deck mod I'd ever done because it's got the big black borders. I thought, well, I'll just edge it in black. Oh my God, I made such a shit show of it, honestly. So I edged it
See?
in black, Sharpie, and I didn't like the smell. So
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it'll be all right. I'll just spray it with perfume.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
So I sprayed it with perfume and put it in a box to sit in perfume. It was all stuck together, of course, with all the varnish coming off it. I was like, what have I done?
Oh my gosh.
So then it was a major save to try and get it saved. Don't spray perfume on your decks. It doesn't work.
That was a message from the universe. You broke your depth year.
No, I was.
See?
I know. It told me off.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I already know
Don't
that.
worry.
I went, okay, universe, I know. I broke my promise to myself.
All right. I'm going to send you these 3 decks because I have them here.
Oh, thank
All right.
you.
I have them. Like I'm telling you, I'm trying to move stuff along.
Thank you. Oh
Right?
my gosh, that'll be like Christmas.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
Help
because
me-
don't
you-
forget, I only started tarot last year, so
That's
there's a lot of
crazy.
decks.
And you jumped in head first.
Oh yeah, typical Sagittarian. The arrow head first.
Yeah. You know, so that is something. I mean, I get it. I understand. And then I have, like, for me, I have, like, I want all the parts to everything. If a book series, I want all the books before I can start reading. Right?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All the books everywhere. Not even a series, just all the books.
I have too much. I do. But you caused me to buy the Braj Talej, that deck.
Oh yes, yeah, I love the Barrage Soleil. That was another one that just came up on an alert, and I got for amazing.
I managed.
Amazing price.
We got it here. I was able to get it here. I can get it here in the States. So I got a copy for myself, and I got one in the shop too. And I was like, see that? Yeah. So I know about that FOMO, right? And to what the Tarot Noir, that you have, Courtney? So when it first came out years ago, when I say I tried to track down that deck, and I remember watching an unboxing, and this person had gotten like double the cards in the box, like it was a mispack. Okay. And I think maybe it had gone off the market or something, and I was part of a Tarot trading group. And this person traded the deck for the Zodiac, the Barbieri Zodiac Oracle deck. It was like an uneven trade, and I should have known better.
She's disappeared.
I'm
Where's she
here.
gone?
I'm here.
She's there.
I'm still here. Okay. So, yeah. Because I was actually going to tell a story with this because I still owe you an explanation about the numbers. So I got, is this the one? Yes. I got, this and like that, right? Trade, and I received it, and I'm going through it, and I have found out that I had 2 5 of coins. So I called myself trying to alter the other one. You can see what I did there?
Uh-huh.
So I can distinguish, because I didn't have a 6 of coins. So I can distinguish something, or I didn't have a 4 of coins, one of those. And I wrote to the creator. I tell you, when people are full of shit. So I wrote to the creator, and he's going to tell me, like, he didn't speak English. He didn't know what I was talking about. Contact the publisher. I contacted the publisher, and this woman engaged me, and she told me that they're reprinting the deck. And she says, when it's reprinted, I will send you a copy of the deck. And she did.
Oh, fantastic.
So this is about 3 years ago. She stayed,
Yeah, I got mine
she let me know. Yeah, she let me know. She kept me in touch with every process, so I wouldn't wait. Because I told her I have a deck here that had 2 of the same cards. I'm missing a card. Can I get a replacement card? You try to do all that thing. The deck was unusable because of that. And I was trying to make it usable, right? And when I told her that, she, from Paris, from France, it arrived. I was like, oh my gosh. There are some good people in the world. So yeah. But that's what I was saying, Candy. Sometimes the universe, gives you that smack on the hand, like, you shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely. And the other time I spoke to Renee about it in January. I've got the Barbara Walker Tarot, is it?
Yeah.
And it comes with a big guidebook, but it's out of print, the guidebook. And I've been trying to track it down. It's over £200 here in the UK for the book. So of course that's totally out of my price range. And then a subscriber left a comment saying, you do realise you can get the guidebook at the minute. They've released it on Kindle and it's only £2.
Oh, wow.
So I did buy that in January as well. I said no books. I bought that. I was like, come on, it's £2 and you can get it now. And then immediately I saw it on Amazon, the actual printed book for like 20, just out of the blue.
Whoa.
I was like, what? And that felt like the universe slapping me, because it's back now to full price again. But because I'd already bought it on Kindle, I just snapped it up printed, and I just thought, that's the universe again telling you off. Look, I'm going to wave it in front of you for 20 quid now.
Exactly. So I know.
I need to not break it again.
Yeah, don't do that, because I'm trying to be mindful. Because I think in one of my last videos, I talked about being mindful in everything across the board fully. right? Because I know in quote unquote the spiritual practice, we talk a lot about being mindful, but then in our day to day, we don't think about being mindful in that. And it's depth year is for you. It's a commitment to yourself for the most part, right? If you can't keep that commitment to yourself, then how are you going to keep it to other people? And sometimes you will keep it to other people, put yourself on the back burner. What you would do for other people, you wouldn't do for yourself. And I think that's the lesson too. Like, you need to put yourself first. Airplane analogy. The plane is going down, you're supposed to put your mask on first, right? Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
Laura, your book fell apart. I can send you the extra book. I mean, it's in French. I have two. You want it? I can send it to you.
It doesn't contribute that much. I put it through Google Translate, and from what I could tell, it really didn't. The book really doesn't tell you much. I mean,
it's a beautiful book.
The images are really pretty, and it's a beautiful book, but it doesn't tell you. You're not missing anything by not having it.
I think it will make a great collage project. Okay. I've seen people do like decoupage with the tarot cards like on a table. I was thinking about having someone do that. That'd be nice. What am I going to do?
Tabletop?
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah, do a tabletop with that, and then maybe put a piece of glass over it and such. I've seen people do that. Yeah,
that'd be good.
But yeah, this depth year, like I said, doing it differently for me, introducing some things. I am going to talk about. I always have to discuss the hard subjects. I don't know if I can find this thing. When I talk about imposter syndrome and such, I think I put it away. I have to show you because I'm going to use it. There was a Vogue pattern, and it showed a beautiful woman on the image, on the cover of it. Blue coat, and you know how we are. And you get sucked in, you get pulled in. And so when I talk about not being seen or recognized or heard, I go to the store to buy the pattern, there's another image on there, and it was like a slap in the face. I know. If I can find it, I will show you, because I'm going to talk about it. But I want people to understand, like, that's what I'm coming from. That's where I'm coming from. So I have to navigate that as well and still be in this place to be able to even have a conversation like this, Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, I can. I'll be right back.
I'm fascinated with that textile behind.
I know. It's the eye. It's the eye.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It looks Egyptian, doesn't it?
Yeah, so my contribution to the tarot community is don't spray perfume on your deck.
Can't believe you did that.
It actually takes the varnish and everything off the card. I was just like,
there's alcohol in that. What?
I know. Now I understand. It was horrific. If anybody's got any good tips on how to get rid of the smell of Sharpie.
I agree with you on that. I did that. I edged some decks, and the Sharpie smell is really strong.
It's horrific. And I'm like, now the deck just stinks to high heaven. It's beautiful because it's edged in black now, and I love it. But it smells. It was a disaster. I very proudly got the deck out of the box to show my best friend on FaceTime. I was like, look at this. Look what I've done. And I realised it was all stuck together in a big clump.
Oh my gosh.
I know, horrendous. So yeah, any tips for getting the smell out?
Nothing. I've pretty much given up modifying anything anymore. If the deck
Well-
isn't exactly the way I want it to be, I'm not going to buy it.
I've always been too scared to do anything, but yeah, it's
I never
probably
heard
right.
of doing it. You know, back in the day, you didn't modify your deck. My gosh, you wouldn't. Nobody even thought of such things. And then when I heard people doing it, I thought, oh, that's really great because then I can make it the way I want it. And then
Hmm.
there was always something that got, you know, it either had a lip on it because of how I used the cutter, or there was bleed from the Sharpie, or the smell of the Sharpie, or it was made the deck too small, or there's always something. So,
Or stuck together in one big single clump.
or
from the
stuck together in
perfume.
one big glob, yes, smelling like perfume. Yes.
Smelled
Yes.
nice, but you know, it's just one solid card.
So I don't modify anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised because out of all the people in the world that I would have thought would have been okay cutting card and colouring card, it would have been me. But no, I just,
Very
it
crafty.
scares me the thought of it. And this experience has not helped. It's not helped at all. Although I did.
There's your intuition for you.
I know, it's madness. But yeah, it really has felt like it's opened up a floodgate of me wanting to buy again. It's bizarre from being so peaceful to suddenly like being
There's
back
just
on.
so many good decks out there.
Oh, I did sit there the other night and just thought I love tarot so much, and there are just so many new decks everywhere.
They're so wonderful. There's so much beauty. It's their art. It's art. It's more than just
So how many decks did you get rid of then?
a lot.
A lot, because if you've only got like 20, that's quite rare in the tarot community.
I know. And here's the thing. I've come to the point, finally. I mean, I've been reading since 1983.
Mm-hmm.
No, wrong. Got that backwards. I've been witching since 83. I've been reading since 87. I can appreciate. I will watch the videos and I'll look at the beautiful cards and I'll look at the beautiful decks and I'll hear what people have to say without having to buy the deck, because I'm extremely happy with the decks I have. That might change tomorrow, but as of right now, as of recently, I'm just very happy with the decks I have. And actually, what I found is I went out, I had these decks, and then I bought a lot of other decks, and then got rid of the decks that I didn't want anymore. And I found that I was pretty much back to the decks that I had before I went out and bought all the decks. So
You've got a core staple.
yeah, I think I really do. And that was something to learn too, and I wouldn't have learned it any other way.
Oh, Dee says hi, Tilly.
Oh,
She'll love that. I'll show her that comment. She loves seeing comments with her name in.
that's so nice.
Oh, so who's here? We've got Laura, you've been here
I
right
don't
from the
see comments.
start, haven't you? That's hardcore. Oh, vanilla to get the scent out of some vintage decks. No, they smell like vanilla, but I'm fine with that. Yeah, I could do vanilla over.
As long as it doesn't mingle with all the other scents and make it smell like everything plus vanilla. As a vanilla
Sharpie vanilla. So
And-
Laura,
and the
what did you do? Was that like a vanilla pod? What would you do? Don't just tell me vanilla, because I'll be sprinkling it with vanilla essence.
You never know what she'll do with the vanilla if you just tell her vanilla.
Yeah, don't, because you know, I'm the person that sprayed perfume all over it. Who would have thought that perfume would take the colour out of a deck?
It has alcohol in it.
What you talking about? What has alcohol in it?
Perfume.
What?
Laura's giving me advice and saying put vanilla in on your deck to get rid of the smell.
Vanilla or lavender?
As long as it doesn't add to all the other smells. Does it cancel the other smells out? Or
Well, I put it in a box with a bag of lavender to start with, and it smelled like lavender Sharpie, and I didn't like that. I'm just when
I've heard that that coffee, the coffee cancels out other smells if you don't mind the smell of coffee.
I love the smell of coffee.
So you could put it in coffee
Mm. Children
Because
calling her mum.
you know when you go in to get perfume and you smell coffee in between? It's just a thought. Now I'm here on my own and I can't see the chat, so might as I could sing. Okay. This is very wrong. I think this happened when I was talking to Madwitch too. Well, people, I can't see you. I don't have the chat. So I don't know. Let me see if I can find the chat. Maybe I can find the chat. Okay. Candy, all set. I don't have the chat. Okay. Vanilla does can. Oh wait, look here. I did see here it is. Okay. Aquamarine 18. Vanilla does cancel out other smells, it seems.
I'm so sorry. Were you just abandoned completely on the live by yourself?
I can't see the chat. But I think I found out how to read the chat, actually. So that's pretty cool.
I might have to go in a minute. I've got children calling me now from all angles.
I do too. There's Dee with Hi Tilly. There we go. I have all this time I didn't know how to find the comments, and there they are. I'll stay for a few more minutes, but my guy's parents just came over, so I've got to go too.
Oh, I've got Tilly calling. I just deal with something, so I'm sorry I abandoned you.
Yes, well that's okay. Here, she's back. All set. We have to go.
I know.
Okay, that's okay. And then of course,
right. So if you go to the website, because I put the pattern away. You go to the website, voguepatterns.com, voguepatterns.com, or Simply Delightful, they're called. And you look at the pattern envelope. This is not what you see on the pattern envelope. It's like this was totally canceled. She was totally canceled. So and that's what I mean. It's a picture of a Caucasian woman in the same coat.
Huh.
Right? So when I talk about not being seen, recognized, respected, or heard, this is a daily. Huh?
I said there would be no reason to do that. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah.
They would not sell.
Terrible.
They won't sell the pattern. They didn't want to sell the pattern with this. Way back when Helen Gurley Brown was alive, she had said that the sales of Cosmopolitan will drop if they put a Black woman on the cover. She was the editor of the magazine. I know.
When was this?
This was so when I say I was born a warrior, this is what I'm talking about. All my life I've been fighting. This is something we've been fighting. Okay. This is something that's real for us. Okay. Dealing with this. So in the tarot community, when I talk about this is what I mean. Right? We're not seen.
Many people are not seen.
Right.
Many people are not seen.
We're not heard. We're not there. So in order for us to get to the root of what's going on, we have to be honest and say, okay, you know what, this is a problem. Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
So when you look at your deck collection, look at who creates your decks. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Well, for myself, I personally don't have a problem with white decks because I'm really white. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with myself. Even my last name is White. I got a story for that too. So I tell you real quick, I gotta run. But I met my daughter worked in a halfway place, people coming out of prison who are being introduced. And they all went by their last names. So at my daughter's baby shower, she introduced me to these people, and one of them was an absolutely adorable, huge African-American guy, last name of Brewster. just wonderful guy. And my daughter said, "This is Brewster." That's his last name. And I said, "Hi, I'm white." Because, you know, I am. And because my last name is white, you know. And he looked at me like, "Are you out of your mind?" And then I explained, I was like, "No, I mean, it's not that I'm white. I mean, I'm white, but it's like because white is my last name." And he was
Oh
like,
my
"All right,
gosh.
all right,
Oh
all
my
right."
gosh. That's
So they
funny.
So, but I mean, so even back in the day, I always say, there should be more creators from different walks of life, from different cultures, from different perspectives.
Mhm.
They should be creating decks. More people should be involved in creating more decks so that there's more out there. Do you know what I mean? But I mean,
Sure.
as being me, I don't mind owning white decks.
I don't either because those are the decks that I started out with. See, I don't have an
But if I
issue with
wasn't
all
white,
white.
I don't think I would want a deck that was white. If I wasn't white, I
But
would want a deck
okay, you
that was
see,
muggle.
so that's the difference because that was what I had to work with. So
Yeah, which is
it never played into what was there. What becomes a problem is when I always say this, when you put that one card out of 78 that's supposed to, that to me, you see what I'm saying? That's the
one person
selling
in a
point.
wheelchair kind of thing, or the
Right.
one
You know what
person
I'm
of
saying?
color, or the
And
one
that's
black
how and that's the part that bugs me because that's like, oh, and you show me that card. So I'm going to buy
Look what
that
I did.
deck.
I
Right.
included.
Yes, exactly. And that's the conversation.
That's ridiculous.
I don't have an issue with all white decks. No, I don't.
But let's not pretend to be something we're not, shall we?
Right. So, yeah. But yes.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. 3 hours and 21 minutes.
We should shut up now.
We're to come back.
My guy's
guy
parents
is
are here. I've got to go.
yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Courtney. Thank you so much, Candy.
Oh, thank you.
It was
It's been
great
so
talking to you,
lovely.
Candy. Thank you.
I know, Candy. Your kids are up.
The kids are
It's
still
late.
up. It's really late. They keep all coming in and out now, and I'm like, go to bed now. I thought I'd got them all set up before we started, but Mom needs to go and sort them now.
Sure.
I have to go and be nice and sociable and stuff.
See,
in real life.
I know.
Actually,
I know.
Really.
Actually.
Thank you all said.
Okay.
Really
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much. And we'll be back next month.